What's wrong? Feng Nung's expression sunk. He extremely disliked being interrupted. The man said shakily, Leader, Elder Wu Bai brought back the young master and Elder Wu Chong. The moment Feng Nung heard that his son was back, he knew that the deal at Chan City had been sealed. He was quite happy that his son had got it done so quickly. He just nodded and pulled the maid aside. In that case, let the three of them come inside. Suddenly, Feng Nung thought of something and immediately slammed the table. Next time you say something wrong, you'll get beaten to death. He remembered the words. Wu Bai brought back the young master and Wu Chong. Not the young master brought back Wu Chong and Wu Bai. No, I didn't say it wrong. It's Elder Wu Bai who brought Dash. The man was dumb and still hadn't understood why the leader was angry. Feng Nung sneered and got unhappier. He couldn't be bothered to keep listening. So he grabbed a cup and threw it at the man's forehead. The cup didn't shatter, but instead it embedded this man's head. The man looked at Feng Nung in shock. Even at death's door he couldn't understand why the leader killed him. Was it because he had bothered him in his good moment? But he had been reporting something important. Before Feng Nung could be dragged out, another horse-faced man walked in desperately. Feng Nung frowned. That man was his right hand and secretary, Feng Quan. His status was above the Wu brothers and he was also at great heaven. Feng Quan was Feng Nung's closest man and had followed him for the longest. When Feng Quan was just at earth level, he was so bold that he dared rape the daughter of a city lord. He was hunted by this city lord, but Feng Nung saved him. Feng Quan followed him and when he reached great heaven, he killed that city lord's entire family. So, although Feng Quan had come in at this time and Feng Nung was unhappy, he didn't say anything. Feng Quan didn't even look at the dead man on the ground. Instead he said worriedly, Big brother, young Master La Ping was killed in Chan City. Wei Chong died from losing too much blood after his ligaments were cut off. Only Wu Bai came back, but his powers have been destroyed. What? Feng Nung heard this and his face changed drastically. He got up immediately, as veins popped out on his forehead. He only had one son and he really was his jewel. Even though La Ping had secretly saved his concubine, he could pretend nothing happened. However now, his son had been killed and his powerful underlings, the Wu brothers, had also been destroyed. Who did this? Who? Arg! Feng Nung was about to go crazy. He smashed the table in front of him into pieces. The two maids next to him shivered and hid on the side, fearing that their terrible master would kill them. Leader Wu Bai was useless. Please punish me. Wu Bai had just walked inside and seen the furious leader. He knelt down immediately. The bodies of Feng Laping and Wu Chong were carried inside by 4 men behind him. Feng Nung's face turned pale gray. He walked to his son's body and saw a terrified face. Feng Nung clenched his fists. He was thinking about how to torture his enemy then. No one in the room dared to breathe loudly or talk. Feng Nung could kill anyone when he raged. After a long while, Feng Nung calmed down slowly and sat back on the seat. He then said coldly, Wu Bai, tell me what happened. Yes, leader. Wu Bai took a deep breath. He realized that the young master had died under his care. So no matter what, the consequences wouldn't be good. Yet, he still needed to report what had happened. After we got to Chan City, we contacted the elders who had joined us. Wu Bai was interrupted by Feng Nung. He looked coldly at Wu Bai. Get to the point. Save the useless bullshit. Yes. Wu Bai felt defeated. Even though he was at great heaven, he was at most a dog to Feng Nung. Now that he had lost all of his powers, he was probably worse than a dog. Before this, Feng Nung had always been very polite to him and his brother. Also, Wu Bai was feeling dejected, because Feng Nung hadn't told him to stand up, but he didn't want to keep kneeling. He got up and said in a calm tone, It was an elder from the Magical Merchant Association who killed the young master. His name is Chui Zhu, a half-step great heaven martial artist. Feng Nung cursed coldly. Chui Zhu, a mere half-step great heaven man, dared to kill the young master of the Sea Merchant clan. How dare he? I won't stop until I slice off his flesh and feed it to the dogs. Wu Bai sneered to himself but said calmly, At the time, Chui Zhu kicked the young master. He didn't have any killing intent, but the young master died. I suspect that the real killer is not Chui Zhu, but Yemo. Yemo. Who's Yemo? Feng Neng couldn't react yet. Wu Bai said calmly, Yemo is the person who is helping the Magical Merchant Association. He killed my brother as soon as he came in, and then young master knelt down for mercy. Chui Zhu was a spy of ours. But when he saw Yemo enter, he kicked the young master to suck up to Yemo. Yemo. No matter who he is, I will let him have a taste of a pleasurable death. Feng Neng couldn't control his rage. That Yemo told me to tell you to have some sense, leader, because he might accidentally pass by here. Wu Bai added. Ha ha ha. Have some sense. Feng Ning laughed. Feng Quan looked strangely at Wu Bai. He knew Wu Bai wasn't the talkative type, but he seemed to be talking too much today. Yemo? Feng Quan suddenly thought of someone. A few days ago, a man had killed countless masters at the magical continent mountain. Great heaven martial artists were like little chickens to him. Then, he had continued and annihilated many hidden sects, including Tai. What made people fear him the most was that he had annihilated more than 10 sects in one day. These sects were very far apart from each other. It would take days by cart, but Yemo had done it all in one day. No one knew how Yemo had gone to this many places in such a short time. Everyone knew this, but no one dared to talk about it. Thinking about this, Feng Quan shivered. He was sure that the Yemo Wu Bai was talking about was this person. Who else could it be? Feng Quan, prepare the things and come with me to Chan City. I really want to see who this cocky bastard is. That I should have some sense? He better have the balls not to leave Chan City. And about that goddess Zihua, if I don't fuck her to death, I don't deserve to be the leader of the Sea Merchant clan. Feng Neng's face was hideous. After having understood who Yemo was, Feng Quan wasn't going to let Feng Neng kill himself. He quickly said, Big brother, that Yemo is probably the person who slaughtered the great heaven masters at the magical continent mountain, and the one who annihilated Tai and many other sects so rapidly. Feng Neng was like an angry chicken who suddenly got choked, as he stopped showing his anger unexpectedly. Wu Bai looked at his reaction with satisfaction. Feng Neng didn't think it would be the one name that could make him not dare to show his anger. He fell silent. He went from extreme fury to extreme calm. He could yell at the top of his lungs about killing other people, but when it came to Yemo, not only did he not dare do so, he also had to go apologize. Who was Yemo? He had easily killed Len Quan and Ling Wushui while being attacked by countless great heaven masters. Meanwhile, he would be just a piece of cake to Len Quan or Ling Wushui. Feng Neng was furious, but he didn't dare to show this anger. Perhaps if he foolishly made the order to hunt Yemo, the next moment, his clan would become history. Yemo might really come for a spin to the Sea Merchant clan. But no matter how strong Yemo was, could he really just let go of Yemo killing his only son? Feng Quan could tell how Feng Neng was feeling. He sent the rest of the people in the room off and then said, Big brother, what do you plan on doing? Feng Neng put down his hands dejectedly and said, What can I do? It will be my luck if that slaughter god doesn't come annihilate our clan. If I tried to get revenge from him, it'd be like asking to die. But I really don't want to let it go like this either. Feng Quan smiled. Big brother? Tell me the truth. Do you want revenge? Feng Neng said with a defeated face. He killed my only son. How can I not want revenge? But even if I want it, revenge is only possible if you're capable. I heard that Qi Yoxin wanted to get revenge for his son, but didn't even last a single move against Yemo. Perhaps what I should be thinking about now is how to save the clan. Feng Quan, think of a way to give a pricey gift to the Magical Merchant Association. Sigh. Feng Quan nodded. Yes, we must send this gift. But it's not impossible if Big Brother wants revenge. Feng Neng immediately got up and grabbed Feng Quan's hand excitedly. Brother, what way do you have to get revenge? Quick, tell me. Feng Quan patted Feng Neng's hand. Big brother, who do you think is prettier, Goddess Zihua or Jimei? Feng Neng immediately thought of Jimei, her moon-like face and crescent moon-like brows, her white jade-like skin. He almost forgot about revenge as he thought about her. There was only her appearance in his head. After a long while, he woke up inside. Although Goddess Zihua is a beauty, she's still a little worse off than Jimei. Brother, what does this have to do with Jimei? Big brother, if you really want to get revenge, you will have to give her to Yemo, Feng Quan said. What? Feng Neng was shook. He only got Jimei a year ago, when she was roaming the streets and was about to be sold. Feng Neng saw her and immediately fell in love with her. Because he loved her so much, he didn't go against her will and do anything like raping her. He agreed to do things after they were married half a year later. This was his woman, such a beauty. How could he give her to his enemy? No way. No, that's impossible. Feng Neng rejected it. Feng Quan sighed. Although he had some small calculations, his loyalty towards Feng Neng was mostly genuine. He felt like something was up with Jimei. With his experience, he knew that she was not the weak-looking girl she seemed. He had tested her countless times, but had never found anything, though. If they could kill Yemo and send her away at the same time, it would be killing two birds with one stone. But Feng Quan knew that Feng Neng wouldn't listen to his opinion of Jimei. He coughed. Big brother, why do you think Yemo is helping the Magical Merchant Association? Feng Neng shook his head. He really didn't know. Feng Quan said, I understand this man. Everyone knows he is really powerful, but he has a special characteristic. He is extremely lustful. Big brother, the reason why the events of Magical Continent Mountain happened was all because of a woman called Mu Xiaoyun. Yemo slaughtered for her. Feng Quan then continued. Mu Xiaoyun was already with Yemo, but Tai wanted her, so the battle occurred because of it. As for why Yemo is helping the Magical Merchant Association, it's also because Yunzi is a very beautiful woman. She probably gave her body to Yemo for him to help them. Feng Neng sighed. But that doesn't mean he will like all beautiful women 100%. And can't we just give him a pretty one? Feng Quan knew that Feng Neng didn't want to let go of Jimei, so he sighed. With Yemo's standards, he wouldn't even consider ordinary women. Mu Xiaoyun and Yunzi are extreme beauties. So if we want to entice him, I can't think of anyone other than Jimei. Feng Quan then said, also, Yemo annihilated countless sects. Even Tai and Kuan-Chen couldn't avoid it. So how come Ci Hangjing Mosque was fine? I heard that Jiesun was even the worst of enemies with Yemo. Later I found out that it was because a few nuns from there had had a few affairs with Yemo. Yemo might be very lustful, but he protects the women he loves. If Jimei can seduce Yemo, how can we not have a chance to kill Yemo? Also, after we kill Yemo, Jimei will still be yours. Feng Neng thought for a long time before sighing. Okay, we'll do as you say, but Yemo is such a master, it'll be hard to ambush him. Feng Quan saw that Feng Neng agreed and breathed easy. He replied, Big brother, don't worry, leave this to me. As long as Yemo is seduced by Jimei, we will succeed 100%. Feng Neng agreed and immediately said, immediately investigate where that Yemo is and arrange Jimei to be sent over. Hang Shui City. Yemo stood in front of this prosperous city and was lost in thought. A few years ago he had come there with Xiaoyun, but now he was by himself. He had searched countless cities and mountain ranges in this past month, had found many herbs, but still wasn't able to find Mu Xiaoyun. Yemo walked around Hang Shui City in the day and went to Hang Shui Square. At night, he went back to the Blue Sea Hotel. He had stayed with Mu Xiaoyun there before. What? Yemo is already in Hang Shui? Feng Neng looked at Feng Quan in disbelief. The boat to the mortal side had left 10 days ago and it was still on the sea. How could Yemo be in Hang Shui already? Could he fly? Feng Quan nodded, but his expression was very strange too. He said after thinking for a while, Big brother, he was able to annihilate many sects in one day. How did he do it? I thought he had a flying pet, but now it seems like he can fly himself. Can he really fly? Feng Neng was more shocked than Feng Quan. He was at Great Heaven Tertiary stage and knew how hard it was to fly. He had heard that not even those who surpassed Great Heaven could fly. They could at most glide in the air, but the distance wouldn't be more than a few kilometers. Feng Neng soon knew what Feng Quan meant. He looked excitedly at Feng Quan. Feng Quan nodded. Big brother. Once we have him in our hands, we should just disable him first. If I'm not wrong, there's a heavenly shocking secret about EMO. He's less than 30 years old, but he can already easily slaughter great heaven masters and he can fly. From this, we can tell that he's definitely not cultivating ancient martial arts. Feng Neng took a long breath. This was the answer he wanted to hear. He feared EMO a lot before, but now he could put all of those thoughts aside. If he really attained Yemo's cultivation method, what would he become? Couldn't he dominate the hidden sex world or even the entire magical continent? Feng Neng didn't dare to keep thinking. But Feng Quan continued, however, I'm sure that I'm not the only one who noticed this. Elder Feng from Ice Lake must have noticed this too. With her wits and selfishness, no matter what kind of disciple Mu Xiaoyun was, there was no way she would openly stand against the entire hidden sex just to save Mu Xiaoyun. Yet, she did. Brother Feng, what do you mean? Feng Neng looked excitedly at Feng Quan. Feng Quan sneered, Big brother? I'm sure that Elder Feng realized that Yemo doesn't cultivate ancient martial arts, so she guessed that Mu Xiaoyun must have been cultivating what Yemo taught her. Therefore, she took Mu Xiaoyun away to get it from her. The reason why Yemo still hasn't found Mu Xiaoyun is probably because she has either been hidden or killed by Elder Feng. Big brother, you can't win if you don't take risks. Moreover, we have Jimei. We can easily attain this wealth, so we can't give up. That's why I would like to propose to Big Brother to send Jimei to hang Shui with Blue Condor, Feng Quan said. Feng Neng didn't hesitate this time and nodded. We have a resting tower in the sea. Blue Condor should be able to arrive in the other side in 1 day's time. But we also need to go to hang Shui immediately. I think that Yemo might have gotten his hands on something that was passed down from ancient times. He's really lucky to be able to obtain such a cultivation method. Feng Quan smiled. Big brother, no matter how many cultivation methods he got, everything will be ours in the end. Yemo stayed in the hotel for 3 days. On the 4th day, Yemo was prepared to leave Hang Shui. It was pointless to stay there anymore. Just when Yemo got to the door of the hotel, he saw a vicious man chasing a woman in rough clothes. The man had a bamboo whip and cursed as he chased. Bitch, how dare you run? Then, he whipped the woman, and the woman howled in pain and happened to fall at the door of the hotel. Yet no one dared to stop the man. Yemo frowned. He saw that although the woman had hair and dirt covering her face, she was extremely beautiful. The man came to the woman and was about to whip her again. Just when Yemo wanted to ask what was going on, a man in a blue shirt walked out and stopped the man. Friend, why are you so cruel to a weak woman? The man stopped and looked at the man in a blue shirt and said coldly, I'm beating a woman I bought. What's that got to do with you? Move aside or I will beat you too. The man in a blue shirt smiled faintly. No one saw how he did it, but they suddenly realized that the bamboo whip had fallen in his hands and with a rub, the bamboo whip turned into dust. Everyone was shook. This man was at least at the earth level to be able to do this. The man also seemed to be shocked by the man in a blue shirt's power. He was dazed before saying, Just because you're strong you're going to rob me of my possession? The blue shirt man sneered. She's clearly a human, yet you call her your possession. How much money did you spend on her? 50. No, I didn't spend gold coins. The man looked worriedly at the man in a blue shirt. The man in a blue shirt threw 5 gold coins to the man and said, Take the gold coins and piss off. If you dare breathe in front of me for 1 more second, don't blame me. The man was stunned by the man in a blue shirt's killing intent and quickly ran off with the money. People around laughed and left. At this moment, the woman crawled up and bowed to the man in a blue shirt before saying, Jimei thanks you for saving her life. Her voice was crisp, but her tone was melancholic. Almost everyone who heard her cried out of sympathy. Jimei didn't expect that she would be saved by this man. Things hadn't gone according to the script. Yemo saw this woman and thought of Mu Xiaoyun even more. When he first met Mu Xiaoyun, she was also like this. Yemo shook his head and walked out of the hotel. Jimei seemed very weak and didn't have the power to stand after saying 1 sentence. Yemo walked to the door and the way Jimei fell happened to be in his direction. A faint aroma entered his nose. Emo frowned and retreated a step while hooking Ji Mei with his leg. Ji Mei quickly got up and said worriedly to Emo, "Big brother, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it. Thank you. I dash." Emo looked more carefully at her this time and couldn't help but truly be shocked at her beauty. She was even a bit more enticing than Mu Xiaoyun. She had that natural feeble feeling. Her eyes looked down, but they were very seductive. The coarse clothes she had couldn't cover her out-of-this-world beauty. The messy hair added a sense of worry-inducing beauty to her. Her butt was also very perky. This woman was only worth 50 gold coins? Emo was shocked. Ji Mei was surprised. She intentionally let Emo see her face, but she only saw some shock in his eyes. He didn't try to chat her up with lustful intent as she expected. That blue-shirt man walked up to Emo and saluted him with his fist. "Friend, you are talented. I'm Fu Wu, if you don't mind. Let's go have a drink." Just then, Emo had moved his leg really quickly and smoothly. With the blue-shirt man's quick eyes, he could tell Emo was no ordinary man. As for why Emo had taken a step back, he believed that Emo was a gentleman and didn't want to take advantage of a weak woman. Emo was planning to go have a look around Huangping village, but Fu Wu reminded him of Lu Lei. "Okay, I'm Emo. Since Brother Fu has the time, let's go get a drink then." Emo nodded casually. When Emo and Fu Wu walked out of the hotel, that woman who had gotten saved also followed them. Fu Wu turned around and looked at her strangely. "Girl, you can go wherever you want now. I've already given that guy money. I don't think he will dare do anything to you again." Ji Mei's eyes turned red and she said weakly, "Ji Mei has no home to go to. Even if I leave Brother Fu, I will still end up getting caught and sold again. If you don't mind me, I'm willing to be your maid." This dash Fu Wu looked at her with a troubled face. His goal was to travel across the entire magical continent. However, when traveling while cultivating, it wasn't convenient to bring a woman. Seeing Fu Wu's expression, Emo approved him. No matter what, Ji Mei was an extremely beautiful woman. There was no way a man wouldn't be interested in her. He had Luoying, Ning Qingxue, and Mu Xiaoyun, so he didn't have any intentions with Ji Wei, but Fu Wu wasn't enticed at all either. From this, one could tell that Fu Wu was a strong-minded person. "Brother Fu." Ji Mei saw Fu Wu's hesitation and immediately looked worried. She also stared at Emo, as if hoping Emo could help her say something or he could take her with him. Emo didn't say anything. Fu Wu would have to make his own decision on that matter for sure. Fu Wu thought for a while and said, "How about this? Ji Mei, come and eat with us first and then we'll talk about other things." "Yes, Brother Fu, Brother Yi." Ji Mei followed them obediently. The three of them went into a nearby restaurant. Although Fu Wu had ordered dishes that covered the whole table, no matter what Fu Wu said, Ji Mei just stood on the side feebly. She didn't dare to sit down, instead she was helping them pour wine. Fu Wu sighed. He thought that Ji Mei had probably grown up serving people, that's why she behaved like this. Due to Ji Mei, the two men didn't have the best time. About Fu Wu, Emo found out that he had been traveling around everywhere. Fu Wu was a very upright and honest person. He didn't hide anything since it was the first time he saw Emo. He said that the reason he could reach Earth-level tertiary stage before the age of 40 was completely due to discovering some valuable herbs among his journey. Quite obviously, he didn't know about what Emo has done at the inner hidden sections. After the meal, Emo was planning to leave, but Fu Wu pulled his arm. "Brother Yi, you know I'm someone who travels around everywhere. I might have a meal this time, but not a meal the next time. Ji Mei would suffer a lot if she follows me. How about letting Ji Mei follow you? Although she didn't come from a good family, I can tell she's a good girl." Then, Fu Wu turned around to Ji Mei and asked, "Ji Mei, would you be willing to follow Brother Emo?" Emo smiled. He wanted to reject it, but Ji Mei replied before him, "Brother Fu, you saved my life. I will follow whoever you tell me to follow." Then, Ji Mei walked up to Emo and bowed. "Brother Yi, you will be Ji Mei's master from now on. Ji Mei will do anything you ask." Fu Wu laughed at this. He was very happy with the outcome. Emo felt something was wrong. Ji Mei had agreed to follow him too quickly. But before Emo could say anything, Fu Wu said, "Brother Yi, Ji-mei looks like a very gentle and placid girl. Don't reject her anymore. Ji-mei is right. In our current society, it will be very hard for her to survive without someone looking after her. She would eventually become someone's toy. Brother Yi, I will be very obedient. Please, don't leave me behind. Ji-mei's tone was melancholic. Emo sighed. He knew Fu Wu was right. However, it was indeed not convenient to take her with him. Emo subconsciously looked at Ji-mei and scanned her with his spirit sense. Suddenly, Emo noticed something was wrong. When he had first seen her, her face and hair were covered with dust. But when he scanned her with his spirit sense, he noticed that the dust was only on the surface. Her hair was very clean on the inside. There wasn't even a speck of dandruff, much less dust. Considering how she had happened to fall on him at the hotel, Emo was suspicious. Emo didn't restrain himself anymore and scanned his spirit sense inside her body. Her skin was snow-white and clean. Emo was suddenly shook and immediately took back his spirit sense. He was astonished. Ji-mei was a cultivator and someone much more powerful than him. She was at least at chi-gathering peak. He didn't know if Ji-mei had noticed his spirit sense, but he was sure that she was scheming something. Emo could also tell that she was injured and had lost all her power. That was probably why she couldn't let out her spirit sense. But Emo didn't dare to scan her anymore. That woman was scary. Emo realized that if he hadn't been cultivating the 3-birth chant and his spirit sense didn't exceeded chi-gathering peaks, he might have not been able to notice all this. Brother Yi, what do you think? Fu Wu asked. Hearing this, Emo wondered if Fu Wu was also a part of her plan. However, Emo quickly denied that thought. Fu Wu seemed very genuine and probably he had just happened to get caught up to this. Emo wasn't scared of her. Even if she recovered her power and was at chi-gathering peak, he could still subjugate her. What worried Emo was who had taught her all this. Emo had to find out was who this master was and why he had used a woman without any power left to get close to him. Thinking about this, Emo laughed. Since Brother Fu doesn't want such a pretty woman, then I won't hold back. Ji-mei, you can follow me from now on. Yes, thank you, Master. Thank you, Brother Fu. Ji-mei's eyes were full of joy. Emo noticed that as soon as Ji-mei looked down, there was contempt and jeer in her eyes too. After bidding Fu Wu farewell, Emo rented a cart with Ji-mei. Emo decided to go to Gontong City first. Ji-mei had explained that she was the young miss of a big family, but her family had gotten killed by enemies. Hence, she fled, but she had gotten caught by that man. She didn't want to stay with him, so she ran away. Emo didn't believe a word she said. As though knowing that Emo didn't like to talk much, Ji-mei didn't say much either and just served Emo obediently. What made her feel strange was that someone as lustful as Emo didn't ask her to sleep with him. Shilin Town was a small town near Gontong City. Emo arrived there after riding a cart for a week. It was just noon now. What made Ji-mei feel strange again was that Emo for the first time wasn't in a rush to continue traveling, and instead he stopped at the town and asked for 2 rooms at a hotel. No matter what Emo did, Ji-mei wouldn't ask questions. It was as though she really was a maid. Ji-mei, I need to cultivate till night, so don't disturb me and don't let anyone disturb me. Emo closed the door and said. He noticed that wherever he stopped, there always seemed to be someone watching their cart. Emo could tell that it wasn't Ji-mei wanting to look for trouble with him, but the person behind her. Ji-mei's powers were all lost, so perhaps she was being controlled by the people behind her. Someone who could abolish the power of a peak-stage chi-gathering cultivator must be at least at the Foundation establishment state. Yes, Master, Ji-mei agreed. Emo nodded and went into the room, closing the door. He was sure that Ji-mei had lost her powers and couldn't use any spirit sense, but just in case, he still set up a spirit sense blocking formation. Emo watched Ji-mei with his spirit sense and noticed her just dazing in her room, so he didn't bother with her any longer. He took a great chi-increasing pill and started digesting the pill. He knew she was at least a chi-gathering peak cultivator, so he was all the more urgently trying to increase his cultivation. When Emo opened his eyes again, he noticed it was dark. He scanned his spirit sense into the room next door and found Ji-mei cooking something. Emo looked at the herbs and noticed that what she was cooking could make people lose their inner chi for some time when inhaled. Was she planning to use that against him? Emo sneered. That would only make his chi a little weaker even if he ate it. At midnight, when Emo digested the second great chi-increasing pill, two people appeared in her room. He had never seen the two before, but Emo scanned with his spirit sense and knew that one was at the Great Heaven tertiary stage and another at the Great Heaven primary stage. Emo noticed that the things Ji-Mei had been cooked had been made into incense, and it was burning. Emo stood up in shock. He didn't expect that Ji-Mei would have made that to deal with the two Great Heaven fellows. Emo also noticed a big blue condor by the room. Did those two ride that here? Emo took away the formation and neared the wall. He wanted to hear what the relationship between these three was. Ji-Mei, what incense is this? As Feng Neng smelled it, he asked. Ji-Mei blushed and bowed to the two, saying quietly, It's an aphrodisiac incense. I bought it in the town. This Emo only walks by my room each time, and he has never shown any intent on staying with me at all. So I bought this, but he still hasn't come. Ji-Mei suddenly thought of something and said desperately, Brother Feng, I'll quickly get rid of it. I see you still haven't done it. But how could Emo resist it? Feng Neng looked at Ji-Mei's ruddy face as he voiced his surprise. He suddenly stopped Ji-Mei from talking. Ji-Mei, since you lit it up, there's no need to put it off. Brother Feng, how about you go out for a bit? I need to talk to Ji-Mei. Feng Quan's face changed. He knew what Feng Neng meant. He sighed. He felt that this leader of his couldn't control himself sometimes and wasn't someone who could achieve big things. Since he gave Ji-Mei to Emo, don't take her body all of a sudden. But Feng Quan knew it wasn't good to stop Feng Neng now. He turned to leave, but suddenly, Ji-Mei called out, Brother Feng. Feng Quan turned around and looked at her in confusion. What is it? Ji-Mei bit her lips as though there was something she couldn't say. It was as though she liked Feng Quan and not Feng Neng. The scene fell silent. After a long while, Feng Neng's face looked unhappy. Ji-Mei, what do you have to say? Suddenly, Feng Quan's face changed, and he said desperately, Wait, this isn't aphrodisiac incense. Why was Ji-Mei tricking them? Feng Quan wanted to disintegrate it immediately, but when he palmed towards it, he found that he already couldn't use any inner chi. Feng Quan's face changed immediately. This was an incense that made people lose their inner chi. Just when Feng Quan was about to flee the room, a dagger flew from Ji-Mei's hand into his chest. Feng Neng immediately knew what was going on too, and his face went pale. Ji-Mei, you wanted to use this incense against Emo, right? You're really smart. This is much better than some poison. Now give me the antidote quickly. Feng Neng's face was pale, but he knew that since Ji-Mei had killed Feng Quan, he wouldn't be able to survive either. Ji-Mei smiled suddenly. Oh no! I lit up the wrong incense, but I don't have the antidote. Brother Feng, what do you think I should do? Then, Ji-Mei walked up to Feng Quan and pulled out the dagger before slowly walking to Feng Neng. Ji-Mei, what are you doing? I brought you back from Xianxia Mountain, and I truly loved you. Feng Neng uttered. Emo heard this and thought, Xianxia Mountain? Ji-Mei cursed. You really love me? You shameless old geezer. You kept trying to take advantage of me and wanted me to give up my body for the survival of your sea merchant clan. You brought me back from Xianxia Mountain? Feng Neng, I'll be honest with you, that thing from Xianxia Mountain belonged to me, yet you took it and wanted to rape me. Finally, I get to kill you today. Ji-Mei, you were injured. Didn't I really save you? Feng Neng's tone was shaky. Ji-Mei sneered. I was injured? Feng Neng, you almost made me die. If I don't repay you, I don't deserve to be a human. I was going to use that thing to reach the golden core state, but you made me almost die. Emo's heart sunk. Golden core? Was this woman a peak foundation establishment state master? If she really was, then he had to kill her before she recovered her power. But before he could do anything, Ji-Mei took out a box from Feng Neng's pocket and rapidly tipped it over into her mouth. Purple snow seed? Emo's heart went cold. He knew he had missed his chance. Purple snow seed was a top-grade healing spirit herb. It had a very rapid effect. It would be too late to go kill her now that she had eaten it. Emo reined his spirit sense back in and knew that if he kept watching her with his spirit sense, she might notice it. But Emo felt something was wrong. Although he was stage 7, his spirit sense was very strong, and he was cultivating the 3-birth chant. He shouldn't have seen wrong. How could Ji-Mei go from Qi gathering peak to foundation establishment state peak? This was too strange. Moreover, the purple snow seed wasn't something necessary for reaching golden core state. The purple snow seed was a top-grade healing herb. It was better than the 1,000-year snow lotus seed, and it could be eaten straight away. Could also be made into a purple snow pill. The purple snow pill was a pill that increased the chances of reaching foundation establishment state, but its potency was far weaker than the foundation establishment pill. However, it was as hard to make as the foundation establishment pill, so rarely anyone used it to reach foundation establishment state. Ji-Mei had said that Feng Nang had stopped her from reaching golden core stage. Yet, Feng Nang had taken the purple snow seed, so something wasn't right. No matter what, Emo knew that it was the Sea Merchant clan looking for trouble with him. Feng Nang had happened to be able to control Ji-Mei, but now that Ji-Mei had recovered her power, the first person she would kill would be Feng Nang. He didn't need to do anything anymore. He didn't dare scan his spirit sense in the room next door either. No matter how overpowered his 3-birth chant was, it was nothing against a foundation establishment state peak martial artist. Emo poured himself a cup of tea and sat down. He realized that if Ji-Mei really was at foundation establishment state peak, then he would get caught. Ji-Mei would kill him for sure. In that case, he might as well sit down. Furthermore, there was no conflict between them. Thinking about this, Emo hid all his cultivation essence. If someone searched him with their spirit sense, they would find that he was an ordinary Great Heaven tertiary stage martial artist. Indeed, Emo didn't have to sit for long until he noticed a spirit sense scanning in there. It was clearing looking at his situation. Emo was suspicious. That spirit sense was at most at Qi gathering peak. Had she said that she was at almost golden core to make him feel scared? The next moment, someone knocked on Emo's room. Emo sighed. What had to come, had to come. He got up and opened the door, letting Ji-Mei walk in. He could tell she had recovered her powers. Seeing Emo frown, Ji-Mei smiled. Thank you for these past few days, Master. I shouldn't have come to disturb you this late. But I'm leaving. I won't be able to serve Master in the future, so I came to tell you. Emo breathed at ease. It seemed that she didn't intend to kill him. After a while, since Emo wasn't telling her to wait until daylight to leave, and Emo didn't comment anything about her sudden strange behavior, Ji-Mei suddenly asked, Master, what do you think of my looks? Emo was dazed. He didn't know why Ji-Mei was asking this, but he still said, You're very pretty. Oh, Ji-Mei smiled and said enticingly, But I heard you're very lustful. Since you think I'm pretty, why didn't you let me stay with you for the night? Emo sneered. He knew that Ji-Mei wanted a reason to kill him, so he said, No wonder Brother Fu didn't want you to follow him. It's only been a few days and you already showed your true self. I think it was probably an act that day you were beaten. But even if I'm lustful, I'm not interested in a bitch like you. Emo couldn't help to think of Mu Xiaoyun. Her feelings were true love. Ji-Mei wouldn't be able to pretend that no matter what. After hearing this, Ji-Mei was dazed. She immediately looked angry, but soon, it disappeared. Ji-Mei sighed. I heard you killed countless masters for your girl and that you were very lustful. But now it seems rumors really can't be trusted. Indeed, I was coerced a few days ago, but I actually was getting beaten. You and Fu Wu are both nice people. You're at Great Heaven tertiary stage, yet you could kill that many Great Heaven peak masters. You're really talented in ancient martial arts. Ji-Mei suddenly shot out a fireball and said plainly, Although you're not bad, if I wanted to kill you, I could with just simply raising my hand. But seeing that you're an honest person, I'll let you go. Then, Ji-Mei threw her fireball to the tea table in front of Emo. Emo saw the fireball and immediately realized that he had overestimated this woman. The fireball was far weaker than his. That woman was only at Qi gathering peak, not at foundation establishment state peak. Emo looked at the fireball and sneered. I have never needed people to have mercy on me. I control my own life. A chi-gathering peak woman that was no threat to Emo at all. If that woman dared to attack, he wouldn't mind killing her. Ji Mei suddenly burst into laughter. They say all men with some capabilities are prideful. Seems to be really so. But I said I'll have mercy on you, so I will. One word of advice, it's better to be humble. Otherwise, you might not even know how you die. You're lucky that I'm in a good mood today. Then, Ji Mei blinked out of the room and disappeared. Emo sneered. He knew that Ji Mei didn't have a systematic knowledge. Although she was at chi-gathering peak, there were a lot of things she didn't understand. He thought of the cultivator he met in the South Pole. He had said that he also came from Xianxia Mountain, and that woman also came from there. Were they together? Wait, that man had said that he had found the cultivation ruin with his martial brother. Not a woman. Emo didn't keep thinking about this. It had nothing to do with him, and he didn't need to stay in that town. He got on the flying sword and dashed out of the window into the night sky. Ji Mei had gone to the roof, but she suddenly seemed to have thought of something. She went back to Yemo's room, and as soon as she did, she was dazed. Yemo had just been here a moment ago. How had he disappeared already? Ji Mei sneered. You're trying to run away? Since I want to find you, you will come back obediently. I was planning to let it go like this, but since you're trying to run away, you can serve me for a few days. While saying this, she scanned her spirit sense out. Her spirit sense could reach 8 to 9 kilometers. But soon, her face changed drastically. There was no sign of Yemo in her spirit sense range. It had only been half a minute since she had left Yemo's room. How could he be more than 9 kilometers away in such a short time? She decided to go to Gontong City. Ji Mei didn't want to return to Xianxia Mountain immediately. She knew Yemo was going to Gontong City, and she had to understand this. Yemo didn't go to Gontong City. He went to Shifeng village under Gontong City's reign. Luoyin had been called Shi Jingqin before she had gone to the hidden sections. Luoyin was in a jade coffin now. Yunzi had supplied him with jade. He had made a jade confin and put it in his golden script world. Yemo still didn't know what sort of world it was, but he knew that it didn't follow world laws. Hence, nothing could deteriorate inside. Shifeng village was much larger than Huangping village. There were about 100 families there. Most of the houses were quite tattered. Yemo looked at the serene scene and took a deep breath before walking into the village. Yemo stopped a few tea-picking girls and asked politely, "Girls, may I ask if Shi Jingqin's family lives here?" Those girls who were stopped all bravely looked into Yemo's eyes at first with eyes that had fire in them. But after Yemo asked about Shi Jingqin, their faces changed drastically, and they all avoided Yemo and turned to leave. Yemo felt strange. Was Shi Jingqin not welcomed in this village? Yemo's spirit sense noticed that one girl left the group and snuck into the village. Yemo smiled. The next moment, he saw the girl come to a tattered haystack house. Yemo scanned his spirit sense in. There was a big-eyed youth there. His clothes were tattered and he was managing herbs. "Shirtai, those people seem to be here again. Just like the two last time, he's looking for your sister. You should hide," that young girl said desperately. So this was Luo Yin's brother? But who was looking for trouble with Luo Yin and even bringing her brother into it too? "Why would you hide from me?" Yemo smiled. "Huh!" The young girl saw Yemo suddenly appear at the door, and she screamed. She was very careful when she came, yet this guy knew somehow. Her face went pale, and Yemo could see her body shake. Shirtai put down the work and grabbed an axe, saying coldly to Yemo, "This has nothing to do with Sister Li. Come at me." Yemo frowned, thinking, "I'm just visiting." Yemo waved his hand. "Shirtai, you've misunderstood me. I bear no ill will. I'm your sister's friend, and I was asked by her to come visit here." Hearing this, Shirtai's face looked weird, but he still held his axe vigilantly. Suddenly Yemo's face changed, and he said, "Shirtai, trust me. I have no ill will towards you. I'm indeed your sister's friend. Wait here for me. I need to deal with some things, but I'll be back in a bit." Yemo then turned to leave. "Shirtai," he left. "You should run quickly," Sister Li said with a pale face. Shirtai shook his head. "I don't want to run. He said he knows my sister, so I will wait for him here. I miss my sister too, but I have had no news of her. If he's from the same group as those people last time, I will fight with my life. Thank you, Sister Li, you should leave first. The pale-faced girl thought for a moment and left first, having worn Shirtai. The reason why Yemo had suddenly left was because he found Ji Mei with his spirit sense as she was rushing past Shifeng village whilst being chased. Although Ji Mei was only at the Qi gathering peak, she should still be almost invincible here. Who could beat her with like that? Yemo followed after them. He wanted to know since when there could have been another powerful fellow like that in this small realm. But the guy had only injured Ji Mei and been unable to kill her. From this, one could see that the guy wasn't that much stronger than Ji Mei. A bird cried, and a blue condor landed in front of her. On it was a man in his 50s. Wasn't this bird Ji Mei's? How did it become that person's? What do you want? You already took the blue condor? Are you really going to kill me too? Ji Mei shouted. Yemo sent his spirit sense out and saw that this man was a cultivator of ancient martial arts. But his power was about the same as Li Cheng's or even greater. He was a true great heaven, or what people here called the level which surpassed great heaven. No wonder Ji Mei was no match for him. Although she was a cultivator, but she didn't fully understand truth cultivation and didn't have a proper weapon, so she couldn't fully utilize her power. Yemo didn't expect to see another true great heaven here. The man studied Ji Mei and then said, "You're this young but this powerful already. You were even able to escape all the way here. Without the blue condor, I wouldn't even have been able to catch up to you. You're unimaginable. Do you know that if I attack with my full power, even Martial niece Len Quan wouldn't be able to block more than a few of my moves? But you did." Ji Mei sneered. "I have no enmity with you. Why did you attack me and rob me of my blue condor?" The man replied plainly, "Your blue condor? How come I heard that this blue condor belongs to the Sea Merchant clan? Although I just left the sect, I know you probably killed the leader of the Sea Merchant clan, right?" Ji Mei sneered. "Feng Nang was scheming for me. Why can't I kill him? What has this got to do with you?" The man sneered. "This has nothing to do with me, but according to what I know, Feng Nang gave you a mission to kill someone called Yemo. I believe you haven't done it yet. So tell me where Yemo is and perhaps I can let you go." Yemo? Ji Mei was dazed. She didn't even know where he was now. The man cursed. "That's right. Yemo, he annihilated my Tai sect. I was in solitary training but found out from a Wanbei called Mo Yushin how cruel this man was. I didn't expect I would come back to hear this news after leaving for 30 years. I won't stop until I mince this Yemo to pieces. If you can't tell me where Yemo is today, then you can go accompany my Tai sect." Ji Mei was dazed. She didn't think this Tai fellow would be so unreasonable. What did this have to do with her? "Of course, you have another way out. You're strong. So you can marry my new disciple Mo Yushin and help him rebuild the Tai sect. You also know that my disciple looks like Yemo, so he's not bad," the man said. Ji Mei just realized that the latter part was the man's main purpose. How shameless! Ji Mei cursed. When she had seen Mo Yushin, she thought that he was Yemo at first. By the time she realized he wasn't Yemo, Mo Yushin had already escaped. But she had called Mo Yushin Yemo. So they knew everything from that. Yemo understood by now that this man was a Qianbei of the Tai sect who had been in solitary cultivation. From what this man said, he probably didn't know of Li Cheng's existence. Yemo's killing intense sword. He wouldn't let such a person leave. If Mu Xiaoyun met this guy one day, she would be done for. And that Mo Yushin too, he would go destroy him as well. Yemo slowly took out his flying sword. Ji Mei was injured, and just when she was trying to find a way to escape from this man, she saw Yemo walk over. She was dazed and immediately rejoiced. "Qianbei, the person you're looking for is here. Now I have no business here anymore, so I'll be leaving." Then Ji Mei turned to leave. Yemo's life had nothing to do with her. The man saw Yemo and immediately knew why Ji Mei would mistake Mo Yushin for Yemo. They really looked the same, but if you looked carefully, you could see the difference. "You're Yemo? You're the one who annihilated the Tai sect?" The man saw Yemo and asked. He didn't care that Ji Mei left. He was sure he would be in time to catch her after he killed Emo anyway. Emo smiled at this man and then flicked the sword in his hand. I didn't think I would be seeing the second true Great Heaven Master. This must mean that Kuan Qian and Ci Hangjing Mosque also have Great Heaven Masters. This man was very contemptuous of Emo before, but when he heard this, his hands shook, and he looked at Emo in disbelief. After a long while, he asked, "You're this young, yet you know the secret about Great Heaven?" This was a secret kept from most of the ancient martial artists. He himself had only found out about it after he broke through the peak of the heaven stage. This Emo had mentioned it so casually. Was he also a real Great Heaven Master? Emo ignored the question and asked, "Do you know Li Cheng?" "Li Cheng? I have some impression of him." The man thought for a moment and said, but he soon remembered his purpose of finding Emo. "Even if you know the secret of Great Heaven, you won't escape death today." Then, his long sword turned into a flurry of sword shadows as it struck towards Emo. Emo knew this was the man not considering him as an opponent. So without thinking, Emo raised his fist and hit the sword shadows. Thud, the man and Emo took a step back each. Emo was sure that the man was stronger than Li Cheng, but he wasn't as strong as him. "You were able to find my sword within the sword flurry and hit it precisely? Very well, you're worthy of witnessing 80% of my full power." The man struck with his sword again, but this time it wasn't just sword shadows he displayed. His long sword produced an inch-long sword ray. Emo nodded. This guy's inner chi was really strong. He could form such a long sword ray out of nothing. But Emo wouldn't let his opponent act cocky without rebuttal, and he laughed contemptuously. "Old fart. Keep bluffing like that and I won't even need to fight you. You will just blow yourself into the air if you keep elevating yourself like that." The sword ray left the sword and pierced at Emo. But then immediately, more sword rays formed, and they all shot at Emo, each of them with the same frigid killing intent. Emo knew that if he let this man keep shooting his sword rays, he would eventually be surrounded by them. One wrong step then, and he would be shot. This guy was really strong, and this sword technique was also very powerful. If he could get it and comprehend it through the three-birth chant, he could change it and then improve his fighting power. Emo knew that his cultivation essence and spirit sense were strong, but his relative battle power wasn't strong. His fighting method was simplistic and could only allow him to reign dominant in this realm. There was a great disadvantage about his flying sword. It was very easy to kill opponents weaker than him with it, but for people on his level or higher, the flying sword could easily be controlled by them. Thinking about this man's sword technique, Emo's heart burned with fire. He had to get it, which meant he had to kill this man. Emo was sure that this fellow hadn't created it himself. He probably got it from some cultivation cave. More sword rays shot at Emo as he was thinking. Emo sneered, and his flying sword became the size of a door under the stimulation of his cultivation essence. This door-sized sword formed a cultivation essence whirlpool as it dragged in all the sword rays. A terribly unpleasant sound of explosions and metal clashing ensued as the remnant cultivation essence and sword rays splashed to the sides, shattering nearby rocks and leaves. Emo breathed easy. He knew he could do this only because the man wasn't proficient in this sword technique. If he could control it freely like Emo could his flying sword, then this method of counterattack wouldn't work. The man didn't expect Emo to be able to break his ultimate move and was visibly shook. The man's battle experience clearly wasn't much to speak of. His sword rays had been annihilated, sure, but he wasn't on the lower hand at all yet. But he didn't make the next attack and instead chose to retreat and protect himself. Emo, however, was very experienced in battle and saw through the man's lack of experience. He wasn't going to let this opportunity go. He didn't take back his flying sword, and instead let it fly towards the man while he punched out at the same time. But the man was still very strong and reacted rapidly. He understood he had lost the opportunity to stay ahead of his opponent, so he immediately put up an inner chi wall. This wasn't the first time Emo encountered such an inner chi wall, and he wasn't going to let it stop his flying sword. Just when Emo's flying sword was about to fly into the inner chi wall, it suddenly changed directions and shot into the air. Just when the man felt curious about how the sword could have changed direction in midair, Yimo's punch was already approaching him. He couldn't mind the flying sword anymore and also punched from inside the inner chi wall, while his other hand prepared another sword technique move. Yimo's punch broke the man's inner chi wall and clashed with his opponent's fist head-on. Before the man could feel happy about Yimo fighting him head-on, he felt a sudden freezing killing intent. He immediately thought of the flying sword that had flown into the air. His heart went cold, and he had a bad feeling. He subconsciously moved to the side while blocking his back with his sword. Clank! The man felt his sword break as his shoulders felt pain right after. Yimo's flying sword then pierced his shoulders. Not good, his long sword was broken. Yimo seemed to be controlling his sword telepathically. Thinking this was too absurd, the man finally started to feel fear towards Yimo. He now knew he definitely was no match for Yimo. As soon as his sword broke, the man shook his wrist. His long sword turned into countless shards, which all flew towards Yimo. When he saw this move succeed, he knew his life was saved. All he needed to do next was to go onto the blue condor. Without checking the result of his attack, he dashed onto the blue condor, and the next moment he flew into the air. Yimo, I'll leave this enmity here for now, but if I don't pulverize your bones and annihilate your family in the future, I swear I'm not human, the man cursed in the air. Meanwhile, Yimo's flying sword had formed a cultivation essence whirlpool again and stopped all the shards. The next moment, Yimo flew into the air with his flying sword. Run away from his flying sword on a bird? Keep dreaming. The man never expected that Yimo would be able to chase up in the air, so he just sat on the bird patching himself up. But when an approaching killing intent etched itself into his heart again, he shivered and subconsciously looked up. He horrifyingly saw Yimo standing in front of him as a white ray fell on top of his head. No! He howled, before two parts of a body then fell down in a rain of blood. Meanwhile, the blue condor screeched and flew off. Yimo didn't mind the blue condor and landed next to the man. Soon, he found a broken booklet in one of his pockets. It was broken, but for some reason, the remaining parts were very sturdy. Yimo tried ripping it and couldn't. Yimo opened the booklet immediately and found it to be a sword technique indeed. However, it had no name and only the first half was left. Yimo flipped through it casually and found it to be a very powerful sword technique. Although only half of the sword technique remained, that was no problem for him. He cultivated the 3 birth chant, so as long as he had the former part, he could form the latter parts himself, and it might even become stronger than the original. The sword technique only had 3 levels. The first level was forming a sword ray, the length of which was based on a person's characteristics and power. There were many types of sword rays. They could be formed from inner chi, killing chi, and sword chi. The sword ray leaving the sword to attack was only the first level of the sword technique. Yimo found that when you cultivated the latter stages, the sword ray could be boundless in size or extremely small to go through any hole. It wouldn't even need a sword to shoot it out from anymore. Yimo sighed. If this man had reached stage 2, then he might have been in danger. Yimo closed the small booklet and didn't keep looking in case it affected him in creating his own version. He believed he could create a better one through the 3 birth chant. This sword technique had no name, so Yimo decided to call it the 3 birth sword ray after thinking for a bit. Yimo dumped the sword technique into his storage ring, and then burned the man to a crisp before heading back to Shifeng village. Ji-Mei had kept running. Luckily, she had eaten the purple snow seed and the potency was still there. So even though she was injured, she was recovering rapidly. She knew she had to leave as far as possible. If that man killed Yimo, it would soon be her turn. She rejoiced at her luck that Yimo came up like an idiot. Luckily, she didn't kill him at the town or she would be the dead one now. Suddenly, Ji-Mei was shook and stopped. Even if Yimo was going to Gontong City, how could he suddenly appear in Shifeng village? Even if he left at daybreak and rode the fastest horse, he couldn't arrive that fast. Ji-Mei shook her head. She didn't want to investigate him anymore anyways. He would be dead for sure after today. Just when she wanted to keep running, the blue condor's call made her shiver. She cursed. That guy had already killed Yimo and caught up with her. Ji Mei subconsciously looked up and saw that there was no one on the blue condor. She rejoiced immediately and whistled. Blue condor had been forcibly controlled by the man, while she actually knew how to communicate with it. The blue condor cried again as it flew around Ji Mei's head and landed next to her. She immediately got on the blue condo and left rapidly. When she was sure she was safe, she thought, the blue condor couldn't have come for no reason. Since it's here, where is that terrifyingly strong man? He should be on the blue condor. There was no way he would let it escape. Suddenly, she had this thought that even she didn't believe. Did Mo kill that Tai master? How could that be? No matter how great his fighting prowess was, he was only great heaven. At that age, it was already absurd that he was great heaven. How could he have killed that Tai master? But there was no other plausible explanation except for this. She wanted to make the blue condor to fly back and check. But she then remembered that her life was more important, so she eventually flew towards Xianxia mountain. When Mo came back to Luo Yin's home, he found that Shi Tai wasn't there. He scanned his spirit sense around and found that he was with that sister Li, and they seemed to be talking about something at the exit of the village. Mo shook his head. He didn't really need to call him back anyway. Luo Yin didn't tell him to look after Shi Tai. Mo took out her jade coffin and put it at her door and said, "You told me to bring you back to your home. I've gotten half your revenge. But there's still Jiesun. If I see her, I will kill her too." After he said that, he noticed that Luo Yin's face seemed a little more natural in the coffin. Did he see wrong? Mo wanted to look more carefully, but he then saw Shi Tai coming back. He put the jade coffin back into his gold page world. "Did you really know my sister?" Shi Tai walked up to Mo and asked calmly. Mo nodded but didn't take Luo Yin's coffin out. Mo said, "I never heard Shi Jingqin mention you." However, Shi Tai's eyes went red instead, and he said, "But it seems like you really know my sister. Then why didn't she come back? Is she okay?" Mo muttered, "She's in a very good place now, so you don't need to worry about her. I would like to know though, why did your sister not mention you?" Shi Tai took Mo into a room before saying, "When I was 2, my dad passed away. Mother took care of me and my sister. Life was very hard, and when I was 3, we didn't have enough food due to a mass starvation. My mom took me and left Shifeng village while leaving my sister behind. She was only 14 at the time. Before mother died, she said she owed sister the most. When she left sister behind, she knew that sister wouldn't be able to survive. Each time my mother mentioned it, she cried. I later realized that mother had chosen me between me and my sister. I felt sorry for sister, so a few years after mother passed away, I came back to this village to see if my sister was still here." Mo couldn't help but sigh at Luo Yin's tragic childhood. Shi Tai said, "After I came back here, I found out that on the 4th day after we left, a good-hearted nun had come by here. She brought a lot of money and food and saved the people in the village. She lived at my house and took care of my sister. She stayed here for 4 years, and in those 4 years, my sister was very healthy. Then she took my sister and left the village and disappeared. 2 years ago, I came back to this village and have been waiting for my sister here. I trust she'll come back one day." "Then why did everyone avoid me after I asked about your sister?" Mo asked. Shi Tai clenched his fists and said, "A year ago, someone came to this village and asked about my sister. Someone said my sister never came back, and he immediately killed that person, calling him a liar. I understand that he was looking for trouble with my sister, but I happened to be out picking herbs, so I avoided that disaster. For some reason, he left the village suddenly." Mo was almost certain that Jiesun must have sent that person to look for Luo Yin. "What do you plan on doing?" Mo knew Luo Yin wasn't coming back, so it was pointless for Shi Tai to keep staying here. Shi Tai bit his lips and said, "I will stay here to wait for my sister. I'm going to train in ancient martial arts and help her. I know someone is trying to harm her, so I must help her." Mo could only say helplessly, "Your sister is in solitary cultivation. The sect doesn't allow her to come out easily. Sometimes people have to stay inside for a few decades, so stop waiting for your sister. And if you really want to help your sister, Do you think you can achieve reaching an astounding martial arts level in this village? I'm Yemo, your sister's friend. If you want to learn martial arts, I can teach you. Yemo thought that he had a whole stack of ancient martial arts cultivation methods. He could easily give him a few. Shirtai heard this and was dazed. However, he reacted quickly and knelt down on the ground. Master, I'm willing to learn. I want to learn. I know martial arts are very hard to learn, but I'm not afraid to work hard. Yemo shook his head and said, Get up first and put your hand on this machine. Yemo took out the testing device that Yunzi gave him. A wind spirit root? Yemo saw the talent that showed up and jumped in shock. He hadn't expected Shirtai's spirit root to be so absurdly special. It was such a pity to learn ancient martial arts with such spirit root. Yemo fell silent. Should he teach him truth cultivation? Shirtai looked anxiously at Yemo, wondering if he would be taken in as a disciple. After a long pause, Yemo sighed and looked at Shirtai. I have two types of cultivation methods. One is the ancient martial arts cultivation method. If you want it, you can have the most powerful heaven-level cultivation method. You could even become the strongest master in the magical continent. There's another type, which is the cultivation method I'm learning now. It's not ancient martial arts. Which one do you want to learn? If Shirtai chose to study ancient martial arts, he wouldn't take him in as a disciple and would give him some resources at most. But if Shirtai chose truth cultivation, then he would take Shirtai in as his disciple. Shirtai knelt down without hesitation and said, Master, I want to learn what you cultivate. Yemo approved Shirtai's cleverness. Of course, what he cultivated would be the best. If it wasn't good, why would he cultivate it? However, Shirtai was thinking that since he was Master's disciple, of course he should learn what the Master was cultivating. Okay, get up first. What I'm cultivating is something absurdly powerful. It's much stronger than ancient martial arts, but it's also very dangerous. When you're not strong enough, if someone finds out that you're cultivating another cultivation method, you might get killed. So the first rule is that you need to keep it a secret. Can you do it? Yes. Shirtai nodded. Yemo said, Okay, I'll teach you the primordial fortune chant. Remember it. Yemo gave Shirtai the cultivation method up to foundation establishment state, and then explained things to him carefully before giving him another black-level cultivation method. He explained to him that he needed to use that as a disguise. Afterwards, Yemo wrote a letter for Shirtai and told him to cultivate in the village. If he was lacking on cultivation resources, he could use that letter to go to the Magical Merchant Association and find Yunzi with it. Yemo wasn't planning on going to Gontong City. However, the thought that Mo Yushin was still there made Yemo want to go teach him a lesson. He had no brotherly feelings about Mo Yushin. If he hadn't tried to scheme against Mu Xiaoyun and him, he might have even helped him occasionally. Yet now, he might even kill him. Yemo scanned his spirit sense out at Gontong City and immediately found Mo Yushin. However, he was looking around anxiously. Yemo sneered and decided to go there immediately. But he looked back and saw a fortune-telling stall with the words, Know your past and future. I predict fortune and disaster. The name of the stall was Zhe Tian. The owner was an old Taoist monk that looked like an immortal being. Yemo was just about to leave when he remembered Li Cheng talk about a Master Tianze. Zhe Tian was Tianze backwards. Was he really that powerful Taoist monk? Knowing that this Taoist monk might be Master Tianze, Yemo quickly snuck into the stall. He wanted to ask two things. Where had Mu Xiaoyun gone to and how to get out? The Taoist monk had just finished up with someone else, so he saw Yemo. Yemo clearly saw his pupils dilate when the Taoist monk's eyes encountered him. He narrowed his eyes and said, The girl from the Mu family finally found you, but... Hearing this, Yemo was shook. He hadn't even said anything, and that old Taoist monk already knew who he was to Mu Xiaoyun. Was there really such person in the world? Yemo's heart was beating rapidly. Did the old monk also know about his transmigration too? Before Yemo could ask anything, the old Taoist monk waved to Yemo and said, You don't need to ask me anything. I can't answer the two things you want to ask me. I'll call it a day for now. You can all come next time if you want a fortune-telling session. There was no way Yemo was going to let him go. He quickly stopped the old Taoist monk and said, Master Tianze, Li Chengxianbei let me know of your powers, so I could find you. Li Cheng had never told him to find Tianze, but Yemo wasn't going to let this opportunity slip. The old monk shook his head. That little guy, always getting me into trouble. Okay, it's fortune that we met. I'll help you have a look. Yemo breathed at ease. Li Cheng was more than 100 years old. Yet that old Taoist monk called him little guy. Tianze told Yemo to sit and took out an 8-sided trigram. He didn't ask what Yemo wanted to know. He just looked at Yemo's face and started calculating. He calculated for a moment and stood up abruptly, as though he had seen a ghost. He looked dazedly at Yemo for a long while before murmuring, Other than a chaos world, there's also someone's fate I can't predict. That's impossible. Yemo looked confusedly at Tianze and asked, Master Tianze, what is impossible? But Tianze didn't seem to hear him. HR packed his things and walked into the crowd without even looking at Yemo. Yemo quickly tried to stop him, but he realized that the old Taoist monk had disappeared in an instant. Yemo immediately scanned his spirit sense, but he was shocked to find that he couldn't even find the old Taoist in his spirit sense range. He frowned and sat down on the stone stool Master Tianze had used. What did he mean by a chaos world? Yemo thought for a long while. Was it due to him acquiring the golden script world? The world inside really did seem like a chaos world. Yemo reflected about his golden page world and Master Tianze's identity. What if he knew that he had the golden page world? Would that bring him any danger? Although Jesun knew about it too, she didn't know what it was. This Tianze, on the other hand, was very mysterious. He couldn't even find him with his spirit sense. This person was too dangerous to him. He didn't know how long he had been sitting in contemplation, but when he woke up, he found it was midnight. Yemo shook his head. If it was a disaster, there was no avoiding it. What will come, will come. Yemo sent his spirit sense out, and that Mo-Yushin was gone as expected. It seemed that Mo-Yushin had run off. Yemo didn't intentionally go hunt him down. Just when he wanted to leave, though, he noticed the stone stool he was sitting on. Master Tianze seemed to have forgotten to take it. Yemo squatted and wanted to lift the stone stool up, but found it to be very heavy. It was tens of times heavier than a metal block of the same size. This mere stone stool weighed more than a ton. What was it made out of? Yemo scanned his spirit sense inside it and found that it couldn't penetrate the stool at all. This was no stone stool, it was just a layer of stone on the outside. This was actually made from something even he didn't know. Yemo was shocked. This was definitely a treasure. Yemo immediately threw it inside his spatial ring before anyone could notice. Although this Master Tianze didn't want to help him find Mu Xiaoyun, this was some gain at least. Now Yemo didn't want to find that Master Tianze even more. He feared that Taoist would come for him and left the city like a thief. He immediately got on his flying sword as soon as he got out of the city and disappeared in a flash of swordlight. Less than an hour later, Taoist Tianze rushed back only to see the empty ground. He stomped his foot in anger. This little punk really isn't honest. He took my property just because I can't predict where he is. When Yemo went past Shifeng village, he looked at Shirtai with his spirit sense. He was cultivating at home indeed. Yemo nodded, feeling that this Shirtai would accomplish something in life. If Shirtai could reach the foundation establishment state in the small world, he would be able to pretty much crush anything in his path. Yemo didn't bother to go to Chan City and just went back to the hidden sex side of the world again. He went back to looking for herbs while looking for Mu Xiaoyun. Xianxia Mountain. It was the place Yemo had always wanted to come. Although it didn't have as many spirit herbs as Wuwen Mountain, it was no smaller than the Wuwen Mountain ranges. Yemo spent a week finding herbs and ores but still didn't find the cultivation ruin. If Ji-Mei didn't mention that she had also been cultivating at Xianxia Mountain, perhaps Yemo would give up looking. But now, Yemo dug out a temporary cultivation cave in the mountain. On the same day, when Yemo just got back from collecting herbs, he saw a certain scene. 2 men and 1 woman were doing something shameless next to his cave. One man was at the earth-level primary stage and one was at the black-level tertiary stage. The woman was at the yellow-level tertiary stage. Looking at their clothes, it appeared like the woman was getting raped at first, but when he inspected the woman further, she didn't seem to be getting raped. When Yemo walked to the door of his cave, the two men saw Yemo and immediately attacked Yemo. They didn't seem to want to listen to anything and just wanted to kill Yemo. Yemo was already unhappy that this was happening outside his cave, and now these two wanted to kill him? This made him truly pissed. He sent out 2 wind blades and then 2 fireballs at once. Moments later, the 2 men disappeared. The woman happened to open her eyes right then and saw Yemo staring at her. She screamed and fainted. Yemo shook his head. She dared to come this deep into the Xianxia mountain when she was only yellow level. She looked like she was in her 20s, and even though she was only decent looking, she had very big assets. Yemo wanted to say a clear mind chant for her and tell her to put on clothes when he suddenly heard the call of a condor. His spirit sense immediately noticed a blue condor. The next moment, Ji Mei and her blue condor landed next to Yi Mo's cultivation cave. Martial's sister Xian lay. She looked at the woman on the ground. "It's you." Ji Mei looked at Yemo. Yemo ignored this Ji Mei now that he knew that she wasn't Foundation Establishment State Peak at all. "This is where I live. Take her away, I'm going to rest," Yemo said plainly. "You!" Ji Mei really wanted to kill Yemo immediately, but she didn't dare to. If Yemo was able to be standing there, that meant that the Tai Master had been killed for sure. If he could kill that Tai Sect Master and come to Xianxia Mountain within a few days, she was no match for him at all. She didn't want to believe that Yemo could beat the Master at first, but now, he was standing right in front of her. "You're a master above great heaven, yet you do something this shameless." Ji Mei was angry, but she didn't dare to attack Yemo. Yemo said coldly, "Take her away. This has nothing to do with me, and I'm not interested in her, nor am I interested in you. This is simply my place, so piss off already." "Nothing to do with you? Not interested in her? I've just been away for 15 minutes and Ji Mei saw Yemo's unhappy face now and subconsciously shivered. She didn't dare to speak anymore. If Yemo suddenly attacked her, or if he suddenly became interested in her, then things would only get worse. If she wanted revenge, she would have to wait until she broke through. Thinking like this, Ji Mei quickly carried her unconscious martial sister onto the condor and left. Yemo went back to his home and cultivated the whole night. After another week, Yemo still didn't find anything. He was losing his patience. That cultivator at the South Pole might have lied to him. After leaving Xianxia Mountain, Yemo started searching for spirit herbs all over the small world. He threw them all in his golden page world. Half a year passed quickly, and Yemo gathered countless spirit herbs and ores but still had no news of Mu Xiaoyun. He didn't find the bitter 10 years either. Yemo didn't want to keep looking. He had left Luoyu for 5 years and longed to return. Yemo also felt that his formation skills had reached a certain level that was sufficient for him to have a go at the formation at Magical Continent Mountain. But before that, he still needed to go to Chan City and see how much resources Yunzi had managed to gather for him. The legendary figure of the hidden sex was Du Dutian. He had reached great heaven before the age of 45 and created the All Heavens sect. No one had been able to beat this record, but now, it had been broken by a young girl countless times younger than him. Yunzi had reached great heaven in her 20s, becoming the youngest great heaven master in the magical continents. With Yun Dongxia missing, Yunzi had picked up the Magical Merchant Association and had devoured the Sea Merchant clan half a year ago. When Yemo came to Chan City, he asked casually and knew that it was the most powerful power in the Chan City other than a few first-grade sections. The first-grade sects seemed to know Thay Yunzi's rise was related to Yemo and all took a step back. Hence, in Chan City, the Magical Merchant Association reigned. Yemo scanned his spirit sense out and found Yunzi. She was at heaven-level tertiary stage now. Yemo could tell that she hadn't sold the other great essence-increasing pill he had given her. She had used it to cultivate herself. Yunzi was spinning a cup of tea in her hands. 3 pills and she had gone from black-level peak to great heaven tertiary stage. Moreover, she had become the youngest great heaven master of the magical continents. Before, She wouldn't have even been able to believe it, but now it was reality. Only she knew that the actual youngest master wasn't her. But Emo, just how many secrets does he have? Yunzi sighed. She knew that Emo wasn't interested in her. In looks, she didn't lack anything compared to Mu Xiaoyun. However, why was Emo's heart tied to Mu Xiaoyun and had no feelings for her at all? Yunzi sighed. She vaguely knew, but she just didn't want to admit it. She wanted to get closer to Emo, and not because she had fallen in love with him. She had an ulterior motive. If Emo hadn't been that powerful, would she have wanted to get close to him? There was no way. What secret? A voice suddenly sounded at her doorstep. Yunzi was shook. She looked up to see Emo walking inside. Ha! It's you, Brother Yi. Yunzi's face immediately looked joyful. Emo could see through Yunzi's attitude to him, but he didn't care. It was just a business relationship. I asked you to buy some herbs and ores for me last time. How is it going? Emo asked straight away. He didn't want to stay for long. Yunzi quickly said, It's all ready. Come with me, Brother Yi. Yunzi took Emo to the herb storage of the Magical Merchant Association. When Emo got there, he was quite satisfied. The herbs were preserved well. There really were a lot of good stuff. Emo asked her to go away for a moment so that he could put it all in his ring. Although she felt it was strange how Emo could put it all away, she knew Emo was no ordinary person, so she didn't ask. Yunzi didn't ask Emo for money. Emo left behind 2 more great essence-increasing pills and told her to take care of Shirtai. He rejected her invitation and left Chan City. He had done all he could in that small world. He hadn't killed Jiesun yet, but the magical continent was so big. It was very hard to find her. He had to go back now. His longing for Luoying and Ning Qingxue made him not want to stay there for a moment longer. Emo returned to the magical continent mountain again. There were 9 peaks, so Emo dug a cave in the middle peak. Then, he set up an invisibility formation outside his cave. He was prepared for a long battle there with the formation. The 7-peak formation was actually connected to the cosmos and it kept changing positions based on time. The reason the hidden sects could only leave every 50 years was because just at that moment the formation got open. Emo knew that if he wanted to go out, he needed to find a moment when the formation loosened. He studied the formation on his own and lost track of time. After another year, he had gotten to stage 8 middle stage of Qi gathering. Yet he still couldn't do anything about the 7-star formation. Until one day, when he found a formation door on the other 2 sects, Emo realized that it wasn't a 7-star formation but a 9-star formation. This meant that what he had been studying before was all for nothing. Helplessly, he could only go to Chan City again and get Yunzi to help him buy large amounts of formation books. Then, he went back and kept studying the 9-star formation. The 9 stars were 7 overt and 2 subvert. If he wanted to pass through this formation, he needed to understand the formation doors of the 2 subvert stars. Time flew by and Emo studied the formation every single day. After countless calculations, Emo found 2 ways. One was to use large sums of top-grade spirit stones and forcibly connect with the 9-star formation's doors. However, not only did it require large amounts of spirit stones, it also needed him to be very powerful. Otherwise, the repulsive force of the formation would kill him and destroy the formation. The second way was to make another formation and connect it to the 9-star formation's doors. He would use his cultivation essence to search in the formation and find that sliver of time when the formation loosened. It was a stupid method and he would need to be focused at all times, but he had no other way. At this moment, in a valley in the Duanhang ranges in China, Luoying, Ning Qingxue and Tang Beiwei stood by a huge rock. Sister Luoying, did my brother leave from here? Tang Beiwei asked strangely. Luoying nodded. It should be. When I reached stage 9 of Qi gathering, I remembered a lot of things. This is a 7-star formation. Martial brother told me about it. He probably went to the small world from here. And Luo Fei also said they came in from here last time. Then how do we go in? Ning Qingxue looked desperately at Luoying. She wasn't able to keep the longing for Emo in her heart like Luoying. She wanted to see Emo all the time. Luo Ying took out 7 spirit stones and said, "This formation needs 7 spirit stones. But the spirit stones we found these years are too low in quality. I'll put them in the spots nonetheless, and then we can stand in this position and insert our qi. Then there might be a possibility for us to open it. But afterwards, this formation will be completely destroyed." "Why is that?" Tang Beiwei looked strangely at Luo Ying. Luo Ying pointed at the bones on the side and the blood on the platform. "Because someone used a blood sacrifice on this formation a few years ago, so if we now also forcibly open it, this formation will completely close down unless someone with great power lays the formation again." Ning Qingxue suddenly thought of something. She bit her lips and said, "When I went out this time, I already told my parents it might happen, so it's fine even if I can't come back. But Tang Beiwei held Ning Qingxue's hand. "Sister Qingxue, are you worried that brother isn't inside and that if we can't come out, we won't see brother again?" Ning Qingxue nodded. Why is Luo Fei here?" Only Luo Ying had the habit of keeping her spirit sense out, so she was the only one to notice. Although Tang Beiwei and Ning Qingxue were both at stage 8 of qi gathering, they didn't keep their spirit sense out all the time. Tang Beiwei and Ning Qingxue also noticed the person. Tang Beiwei greeted, "Sister Luo Fei, why did you come too?" Luo Fei's face showed surprise and joy and immediately rushed over. "You 3 are here indeed." The 3 guessed what was going on. Tang Beiwei asked, "Sister Fei, are Brother Su and Sister Yuehua okay?" Luo Fei nodded but didn't reply. Luo Ying said, "After I put the spirit stones in place, we'll send qi into the Tian Ko position together. Don't rush it. We can try slowly first." At this moment, Yemo had dark circles under his eyes. His eyes were bloodshot, and his hair was so messy it looked like grass. He didn't know how long he had been there, and he just relied on the Paigu pill to fill up his stomach. This method was very tiring, but he didn't want to give up. He needed to keep watch of the formation constantly, so it consumed his spirit sense and cultivation essence greatly. Every time he used up his spirit sense, he would use his cultivation essence to check and further refine his spirit sense. After time, his spirit sense became very condensed. It went from 7 kilometers to 20 kilometers. His cultivation essence also became very condensed. Although he wasn't stage 9 yet, he wasn't far away from it. This was due to him not cultivating. If he simply cultivated his essence every time he used up his spirit sense and cultivation essence, perhaps he would be at the tertiary stage of stage 9 by now. This was a very powerful improvement. Although his 3 birth chant digested spirit qi very fast, he also needed more spirit qi than normal to break through. If other people needed 10 top-grade spirit stones to break through, he would need 100 or more. This time too, Yemo kept watch with his spirit sense while eating a food pill. But as soon as he did, he noticed the loosening of the formation as it was getting bigger and bigger. This was impossible. How could it be loosening at this time? Yet the impossible was happening in front of him. What was going on? Yemo didn't know what could have happened, but he grasped the opportunity and immediately inserted his qi. He wanted to make the formation loosen even more. Soon, he realized that the only reason why this formation could be loosening was because people from the outside were trying to open the formation. Who would it be? Only the hidden sex members knew about this formation. Yemo was bewildered, but he knew that there would only be one chance like this, and he wasn't going to give it up. At the same time, Luo Ying, Tang Beiwei, Ning Qingxue, and Luo Fei were sweating like crazy as they kept inserting their qi. They couldn't control their qi anymore as it all got drawn in relentlessly. Luo Ying's face changed. She knew it was over. She didn't expect that their combined qi wouldn't be enough to open the formation. If she were by herself, she would be able to take the backlash and leave, but there were 4 people present. If she did that, the other 3 would immediately be killed by the formation. Tang Beiwei's face went pale as she struggled to speak. "Sister Luo Ying, are we going to die? If this keeps sucking our qi like this, we could lose all our power." Luo Fei spewed out blood. She was trembling and was very close to completely exhausting her qi. Ning Qingxue glanced at Luo Ying. Her eyes were dim. She wasn't afraid of death, but she really didn't want to die without seeing her husband. Sister Luo Ying, I feel that I can control my own qi again. Tang Beiwei rejoiced. Luo Ying and the others also noticed this. Luo Ying breathed easy and said, although I don't know what's going on, this means that the formation is about to open. Luo Fei, are you okay? Luo Fei shook her pale face. I'm fine, but if it kept being like before, I would be a goner. Luo Ying thought for a moment before saying, perhaps someone is helping on the other side, but this is good for us. Don't lose focus, add more power. The four inserted more qi and soon, a rainbow formed next to the rock with a humming sound. The formation is about to open. Grab each other's hands, so we don't land all over the place, Luo Ying advised. A huge suction power appeared on the rock, and it was like a gate as it swooped the four inside. At this moment, Yemo saw the formation open. He shot his qi inside as he dashed into the formation door. A strong suction force swept him along, and Yemo breathed easy. He finally got out. Sister Luo Ying, what is this place? These 9 peaks are so high. Tang Beiwei crawled up from the ground and looked at her surrounding. Luo Ying shook her head but then said, there's air restrictions here? Is this the cultivation realm? Did Martial Brother not come here? Luo Fei was dazed for a moment as she looked around. This is the small world, the magical continent. We're standing at Magical Continent Mountain. This is the same place we left from. I seem to be feeling Yemo's qi, Ning Xianxia murmured. Luo Ying's eyes went red. I also felt his qi. Tang Beiwei wiped her eyes. She knew that although Sister Luo Ying didn't show it, she loved her brother just as much as Sister Xianxia. Luo Fei suddenly said, this place is only 50 kilometers away from Chan City. We can go there to find out about Brother Ye's whereabouts. Chan City is the center of the hidden sects. If Brother Yi showed himself, we can find out about him there. Luo Ying was the head of the four. Hearing this, Luo Ying nodded. Okay, let's go to Chan City first then. Soon, the four arrived outside Chan City. All of them could fly except for Luo Fei, which made her feel quite down. Luo Ying saw this and walked up to Luo Fei. Luo Fei, you can cultivate with us from now on. Martial Brother won't say anything if I teach you. Ha! Luo Fei's face was full of surprise and joy, but she immediately reacted and said, thank you, Sister Luo Ying. Should I dash? Luo Ying knew what she was going to say and waved her hand. We'll still be sisters. It would feel strange if you called me master. Sister Xianxia. This city is so big, but if Luo Yu City built a wall too, wouldn't it be much bigger than this? Tang Beiwei saw the tall city walls and exclaimed. Luo Fei nodded and said, yeah, Chan City is the biggest city in the hidden sects, and in the mortal world on the other side of the sea, there's also a very big city called Hangshui City. I can show you guys later, but I've only ever heard about it. Okay, but we need to find Brother first. Tang Beiwei also worried about Yemo a lot. Yemo was her only kin. As soon as the four walked into Chan City, they caught the eyes of almost everyone. For extremely beautiful women appeared together in this prosperous city. But Luo Ying and Ning Xianxia had very strong temperaments and people didn't dare to go up to them. In this city, power was everything. If you offended someone significant, you wouldn't even know how you died. The four walked into a hotel, and Tang Beiwei called the waiter. I want to ask about someone. Luo Fei quickly said, Beiwei, you won't find out about anything like this. There are countless people going in and out of Chan City every day. Unless it's a very famous person, it's pointless to ask like this. We'll ask the city lord to put up a notice, and then I think we should be able to find Brother Yi. Tang Beiwei nodded. You're right, but wherever Brother goes, he always becomes famous. Miss, I in fact happen to collect news. So perhaps if you tell me the name of the person you're looking for, I might know. The waiter commented. Ning Xianxia simply asked, his name is Yemo. Do you know? The waiter heard this name, and his face changed drastically. He didn't even talk and just walked away. The very noisy restaurant area of the hotel became very quiet after hearing this name. What's going on? Tang Beiwei was confused. But before anyone said anything, she walked up to that waiter and stopped him. Why did you leave after hearing my brother's name? Tell me or don't blame me for what I might do, Tang Beiwei said. Me, miss. I never said anything bad about Yichinbei. Please let me go. The waiter regretted for being a loudmouth. Tang Beiwei said coldly, I will let you go if you tell me about Yimo otherwise. I'll speak. Yichinbei hasn't appeared for a few years, the waiter said shakily. Tang Beiwei was angry. Since my brother hasn't appeared for a few years, why are you acting like this? The waiter didn't dare to reply at all. At this moment, a youth sitting next to the window saluted with his fist as he walked over. Miss, I am Lu Hushin from the All Heaven sect. It is thanks to Yichinbei that we are a special grade sect now. Ordinary people don't dare to talk about Yichinbei, but I can tell you about him. Tang Beiwei studied the young man and said, Oh, in that case please tell me what happened to Yimo. Lu Hushin's face was handsome, and he was very tall. He carried a long sword on his back. Lu Hushin saluted to Luoying and company with his fist and then said, 4 years ago, Yimo's wife, Mu Xiaoyun, was schemed for by the Tai sect, and because of that. Hearing this, Luoying and Ning Qingshua's hands shook. Yimo got another wife here? Meanwhile, Tang Beiwei looked down as she felt ashamed to face Sister Luoying and Sister Qingxue. Although she didn't mind personally, this was quite unfair towards them. But soon, Luoying and Ning Qingxue acted normal as though nothing happened. Lu Hushin continued. Tai sect wanted Mu Xiaoyun no matter what, but Yichinbei happened to get there on time. At the Hidden Sect's grade tournament on Magical Continent Mountain, he exerted his dominance and killed tens of great heaven and earth level masters. Then, he annihilated the Tai sect, Gemini Sword sect, Forgery Hall, and tens of sects that acted against him. Hearing this, Luo Fei shivered and spilled a cup on the table. She was extremely shocked. Yimo had killed so many great heaven masters all by himself and annihilated a special grade sect like Tai? This was unbelievable. If Yimo was this strong, didn't that mean he could easily wipe out her sect? Also, the All Heaven sect had been just a first-grade hidden sect before, yet now they were special grade. Such big changes had occurred amidst the hidden sects in a few years' time. But Lu Hushin continued. With Yichinbei's dominance, ordinary people don't dare to show disrespect for him. After Yichinbei did these things, he went around looking for his wife and disappeared for a few years. A few years ago, those disciples who escaped from the Tai sect all came back under the lead of someone called Mo Yushin and formed the Tai sect again, though. Although it's no longer a special grade sect, they're still a first grade sect. You're saying that Yimo has been gone for a few years? Ning Qingxue asked shakily. Lu Hushin replied, immediately seeing someone as pretty as Ning Qingxue ask him something. Yes, if Yichinbei hadn't disappeared for at least a few years, the Tai sect members wouldn't have dared to rebuild their sect. If he has been gone for a few years, why did the waiter not dare to answer us? Ning Qingxue asked coldly. Lu Hushin replied, because a month ago, a certain youth came to Chan City. He also asked for Yichinbei's whereabouts. But this was heard by a half-step great heaven elder of the Tai sect who immediately ridiculed Yichinbei and told that youth to piss off. After that, he called Yichinbei a coward and said that if he dared to come out, Tai would get its revenge. He's asking to die. How dare he talk about my brother like that? Tang Beiwei was furious. Lu Hushin smiled. That youth said the same, though he called Yimo his master. When that Tai fellow heard this, he stood up to kill him. However, that youth killed the Tai master with just 2 moves. That wasn't the end of it. He went to the campsite of Tai in Chan City and killed a few earth levels and kicked all the other disciples out of Chan City as well. If you guys have just come to this city, I can show you guys around if you don't mind. Lu Hushin looked eagerly at the girls. No need, thank you. Tang Beiwei waved her hand and went back to her seat in disappointment. Lu Hushin didn't want to give up just yet. He saluted with his fist. If you're looking for Yichinbei, I can still help, because Goddess Zihua is from our All Heaven sect dash. A crisp female voice interrupted him. Martial brother Lu, leave. There's no business for you here. Lu Hushin saw the woman coming through the door, and immediately said, Yes, martial sister Yun. Yun Zi walked to Luoying and company and was shook. She got news that a few girls were looking for Yimo. She thought it was Mu Xiaoyun, but instead, it was these girls out of which none was less pretty than her. When Yemo landed on the ground, he spread out his spirit sense. He immediately became excited as he had returned indeed. But soon, Yemo noticed that this formation seemed to have been opened just then and it was now broken. Yemo soon remembered that at Magical Continent Mountain, the formation had loosened for no reason. It seemed that he helped the people crossing over from here while they helped him too. Yemo shook his head. The thing he wanted to do the most now was to get back to Luoyu. Yemo's spirit sense had gotten very strong, and when he got on his flying sword and sent his spirit sense out, he immediately noticed that there was a hiding formation outside the valley. Yemo immediately dashed over to this formation. On the small platform inside the hiding formation, there was a tree with 10 bright red fruits. When Yemo saw this tree, his excitement was indescribable. He had looked all over the small world for it, but now he got it so easily. This was a bitter 10 years tree. 800-year-old bitter 10 years. If he moved this to his chaos world and then sold bitter 10 years in the cultivation realm, he would become filthy rich. But Yemo soon calmed himself down. He didn't even know if he could move the tree. Most importantly, he didn't have a place to plant it. Although he had a golden page world, the world was still gray. He couldn't even go in himself. The only thing about it was that things wouldn't deteriorate inside. No matter what, Yemo was still very excited obtaining the bitter 10 years. He took out 10 jade boxes and inscribed formations on them before then carefully placing the fruits inside and putting the boxes in his golden page world. Then, he set up a few more formations around the tree. He couldn't dig the tree away now, but that didn't mean he wouldn't in the future. Luoyu City was no longer the Luoyu City of when Yemo left. It had a population of about 2 million now. Due to its proper urban planning and advanced technology, it had become a place everyone in the world wanted to visit. It looked very calm, but there were in fact a lot of hidden undercurrents. This was all because the leader of Luoyu, Yemo, had disappeared for almost 10 years while his wives didn't care that much about power and also left 2 years ago to look for Yemo. So, the real power was in Su Yuehua's and Su Ping's hands. However, they were both immersed into cultivation as well. After Luoyu stabilized, they spent most of their time cultivating. They knew this city was Yemo's anyway, so when Yi Zifeng and Yi Ling rose up, no one felt it was inappropriate to leave it to them. Su Yuehua was a bit better and still cared about Luoyu's development, but Su Ping really put almost all of his time into cultivation. But recently, things had begun to touch Su Yuehua's and Su Ping's bottom line. So all the higher-ups of Luoyu held one of their big meetings. Although Su Yuehua had been the one to bring it up, she didn't feel good about it at all. City Lord Su Yuehua, Vice City Lord Dong Tanjin, Vice City Lord Yi Zifeng, Vice City Lord Yi Ling, Army Marshal Su Ping, Head of Commerce Su Xianxia, Navy Commander Shinda, Ground Forces Commander Yi Zhihua, Head of Technology Dong Nana, Foreign Affairs Minister Dong Chong, and so on. Su Yuehua looked at this room full of people and suddenly felt lonely. She found most of the faces weren't familiar. What happened to you Miaodan, Zhang Jian and Huang Yinian? Guiqi, Li Sandao, and the crazed tech genius Yixing? At this moment, Su Yuehua suddenly felt like she had betrayed Yemo's expectations. She had unknowingly let Luoyu turn into this. She had only bothered herself with building Luoyu's technology and helping it expand, spending all her remaining time cultivating. She didn't even notice the highest level of Luoyu turning into this. If she wasn't the appointed city lord by Yemo, if Su Ping wasn't Yemo's second brother, could they even still stay in their positions? If they didn't both have Earth-level peak power, could they still maintain their power? In fact, she didn't even know who this Dong Tanjin was. Yet he had more power than her in actuality. Su Yuehua was still being dazed when the Vice City Lord Dong Tanjin said, "Today's meeting will be held by me and City Lord Yuehua. Due to Yixing's departure, our new head of technology Dong Nana can't even look at a lot of the resources, let alone." Su Yuehua was furious already. This Dong Tanjin was stepping over the line. Yemo stood in the prosperous city and exclaimed out of surprise. He had left for many years, and in these years, Yixing and Su Yuehua didn't betray his expectations. Luoyu City was built rather well. He desperately wanted to see Luoying and Xianxia, but he didn't know how to face them. Suddenly, there was a ruckus on the streets. Emo looked over and saw someone smashing a clothing shop. Emo frowned. How could this happen at Luoyu? What was Feng Wei doing? Yuan Gong. It's you? Emo squeezed in and saw that he actually knew the shop owner. It was Yuan Gong who came with him to Flowing Snake to start up Luoyu Pharmaceuticals. He had a sister called Yuan Meixiang. Emo met them and Zhang Jian on the train. How could someone smash a founding father's shop? Yuan Gong's eyes were red as he held a metal stick, ready to resist the patrol squad. There was a woman behind him who was probably his wife. When he heard Yemo's voice, he turned around and saw Yemo. At that moment, he was dumbfounded and dropped the stick. Yuan Gong, what's going on? Yemo asked again. Yuan Gong suddenly knelt on the ground and started crying. Brother Yi, is it really you? You're back. Yemo pulled him up and asked coldly, what is going on? Why is something like this happening? Where is Feng Wei? That bastard. Before Yuan Gong could answer, the patrol squad leader studied Yemo and said in a weird tone, who are you? How dare you intervene with Luoyu's law enforcement? Do you not want to live? Men, capture him for now. Yemo sneered and couldn't even be bothered asking why anymore. He casually swept his leg and broke all their legs. No matter who was right, he wasn't going to allow any law enforcement officers like these. These people didn't expect Yemo to be more strong and more unreasonable than them, breaking their legs without asking anything, and they started howling in pain. Yemo was annoyed by this even more, and he kicked all their teeth out. What's going on? Yuan Gong, tell me. Yemo's tone was ice cold. He would never allow abuse of civilians on his land. Whoever dared do that would be killed. 2 years ago, City Lord Ning left Luoyu. The new Minister of Finance said my sister's records weren't clean and locked my sister up. I luckily bought the shop when Luoyu was just built. Due to my sister's case, I'm not allowed to work at Luoyu Pharmaceuticals anymore. So now keeping this shop open is all I can do, Yuan Gong said. Yemo frowned. Xianxia had left? He scanned his spirit sense out, and he didn't see Ning Xianxia, Luoying, or Tang Beiwei. He then looked at the meeting Su Yuehua was holding, and he didn't know most of the people there. Where was Sister Yu? And his Navy commander Old Huang? Zhang Jian and Guiqi weren't there either. He didn't even see Yixing. The more Yemo looked, the more unhappy he was. He scanned his spirit sense out 20 kilometers and didn't see these people anywhere. Yuan Gong continued, my shop was always very quiet, but for some reason Brother Feng Wei was also locked up and dash. What? Feng Wei is locked up. Yemo's eyes went colder and colder. There was a possibility that Yuan Meixiang's records weren't clean, but Yemo knew Feng Wei. He was very loyal. He would definitely not do something illegal. Why was he locked up? Yuan Gong nodded. Yes, because Brother Feng was locked up. These people started doing as they pleased. These people were sent by the Dong family. The Dong family is the most powerful family in Luoyu right now. A servant of theirs wants my shop, and so now they want to rob it. Yemo's face was oozing frigidity now. He kicked the patrol fellows away and said, does Su Yuehua not know about all this at all? Or does she not bother to care? Yuan Gong shook his head. I don't know. I wrote to her saying that my sister was innocent, but I got no reply. What happened to my sister and I isn't even that bad. Last year, there was an incident with a family from Europe. Because they had a pretty daughter and Dong Zhang from the Dong family wanted her. When the family didn't agree to his advances, the next day, the entire family died, and the daughter was raped and killed. When the police investigated, they declared it a family suicide. Ha. Suicide, very well. Yemo didn't want to stay here any longer at all. I disagree with City Lord Dong's words. The secret files of the tech department aren't even visible to me. How long has Dong Nana been here for? Unless my third brother signs for it personally, no one is allowed to go see those records. Su Ping rebuked Dong Tanjin's words. Dong Tanjin sneered. Co Su, if I bring this up, it means it has been approved of. Otherwise, I wouldn't bring it up. City Lord Yi, you can start a vote. Su Yuehua knew that if there wasn't a secret card needed to access the files, Dong Tanjin wouldn't even bother holding a meeting for this. After Yi Xing left, the card to the room was left to her. The ground forces commander Yi Shihua suddenly got up and said, I agree with City Lord Dong's proposal. Also, I believe the conservative position of City Lord isn't beneficial to the development of Luoyu. I propose a 4-year term for the City Lord position just like the US and their president. This way, we can vote for a new City Lord. Su Yuehua was furious. She was no politician, but Yi Mo had given her the position of City Lord. She didn't care about the position but about letting Yi Mo's hopes down. Seeing Su Yuehua's anger, Dong Tanjin sneered. These few idiots all showed their emotions on their faces. No wonder he had only needed a few years to get 80% of the political power in Luoyu. Yi Zifeng coughed and got up. My brother gave the position to Su Yuehua. I don't think we should touch it. If my brother comes back, Fong Nana heard this and immediately sulked. Zifeng, we're talking about serious matters here. You can't just speak out of personal feelings like that. We've been married for a few years. But did you see me troubling you out of personal matters? Yeah, City Lord Zifeng, Yi Mo hasn't come back in all these years. If something happened to him, are we to stagnate like this? Moreover, the military of Luoyu also agrees to changing the City Lord. Dong Tanjin smiled. Su Ping was immediately furious. When did I agree? The military disagrees with this proposal. Do you represent the military? Then what do Yi Shihua and Shen De represent? Dong Tanjin sneered. Yi Shihua and Shen De got up and said, we represent the Luoyu Navy and ground forces, and we support City Lord Dong's proposal. Those who disagree can talk to our troops. Even if Yi Mo himself came back and disagreed, he would need to ask our troops. Very well, I disagree. Now get your troops to ask me. A cold voice sounded, and everyone looked at the door of the meeting room. There was no alert to this new arriver, and everyone was shook upon seeing why. CEO. Third brother, you're back. Brother Yi. Yi Mo felt warm hearing these voices. There were still some people who remembered him. Yi Mo? Dong Tanjin was dazed but soon reacted and saluted with his fist. This is Luoyu's highest level meeting. How about I invite you to rest first? And after the meeting, Yi Mo looked coldly at Dong Tanjin and said, and what the hell are you? Who let you sit there? Big brother, Brother Tan is the #1 vice city lord right now. Everyone voted for him. Yi Zifeng got up and said. Yi Mo glanced at Yi Zifeng but didn't answer. He looked coldly at Dong Tanjin. Dong Tanjin's face went cold, and he signaled at Yi Shihua, but Yi Shihua was shaking at the sight of Yi Mo. He didn't see Dong Tanjin's signal at all. Seeing this, Dong Tanjin sneered and said plainly, I'm Dong Tanjin. Perhaps due to my late arrival, I don't know Mr. Yi. You're our valuable guest. But this is an important meeting, so please, someone come. 3 men came out immediately, 2 of whom were half-step great heaven and 1 was a mutant master. He was at least level 8 or higher. Lock him up. Dong Tanjin waved at the 3 men. Yi Zifeng's face burst red. City Lord Dong, he's my big brother. Luoyu City is his. What are you saying? Dong Tanjin waved at Yi Zifeng. Zifeng, private matters belong to the private sphere. Nana also just told you. Luoyu City isn't Yi Mo's. It's everyone's. Don't worry. I'm just preventing him from obstructing our meeting. I won't hurt him. So you're from that currently most powerful family in Luoyu? The Dong family? Yi Mo suddenly asked. We can talk after the meeting, Mr. Yi. Dong Tanjin was very calm, as though everything and everyone was under his control. Dong Tanjin closed his eyes, and those 3 masters charged at Yi Mo. Su Ping got up immediately, but Yi Mo waved his hand at him. Yi Mo sneered. No wonder Dong Tanjin was this cocky. He could get such masters, 3 of them at that. He definitely wasn't ordinary. However, Yi Mo was unhappy with Yi Zifeng's attitude. He was his brother, yet he was helping Dong Tanjin. Yi Ling didn't talk, but Yi Mo saw guilt in her eyes too. Perhaps Yi Ling had even helped this guy. However, these people were insects to the current Yi Mo. Yi Mo mobilized his cultivation essence, and the 3 masters immediately felt like they had sunk into a dense mud pit and couldn't move at all. They immediately knew things weren't good, but before they could react, Emo waved his hand and 3 wind blades brought down 3 heads. Dong Tanjin was dazed. He was the one who brought these 3, and he knew best how powerful they were. Could be said that no one in the world could stop the 3 of them together. Yet they didn't last a single move against Emo. Before Dong Tanjin could react, Emo walked to Dong Tanjin and grabbed him. He threw him into the air and swiped out. Blood splashed out, and when Dong Tanjin fell on the ground, his ligaments were missing. Yi Zifeng looked at this in shock. The number 2 figure in Luo Yu, his brother-in-law, had turned into that out of nowhere. Big brother Yi Zifeng looked dazedly at Emo. He had heard a lot about how Emo was decisive in killing, but this was the first time he saw his brother kill, and so bloodily at that. Emo didn't seem to see Yi Zifeng and shot out 4-finger winds, stopping Dong Tanjin's bleeding. No one could believe how easily he stopped that massive bleeding. Everyone in the meeting room had woken up by then. Su Yuehua and Su Ping were fine, but Su Qianxian was already puking. This was too bloody. She knew why Emo was killing these people. She had known the purpose of this meeting too, but she could only protect herself. Emo had given her this opportunity and recovered her looks. Hence, she didn't want to join the Dong family's side. So she had been planning on resigning, but now Emo had come back. Emo looked coldly at Yi Shihua and Shinda, who tried to leave. If you sit there and don't move, I might leave you with a full body. If you dare to move, then you will be like this cocky guy. Big brother. Shihua is my cousin. He's from the Yi family. Yi Zifeng finally understood how domineering and unreasonable Emo could be. Emo looked coldly at Yi Zifeng finally and said, Zifeng, the first thing I need to tell you is this. Luo Yu does not belong to the Yi family. Even if Yi Barong dared to do the same thing, I would still kill him. Secondly, being from a big family, how can you be so foolish? I wouldn't care about you being the city lord. But what about forgetting the original people who followed me? Did they do you any wrong? You don't need to explain to me. There will be other people to do that. Then Emo walked to Dong Tanjin and kicked him on the head. Dong Tanjin's eyes went blank. Tell me, what is your name? Emo looked at the convulsing Dong Tanjin and said coldly. Dong Tanjin answered in a monotone voice, I'm Dongfang Tanjin. Who sent you here and what for? Emo asked. Dong Tanjin replied, The young master sent me here. He believes Luo Yu is more suitable for Shi Tang's development. We will take over everything in Luo Yu. Emo then looked at Dong Chong and Dong Nana and said, You don't need to think about anything else, since you dared to come to Luo Yu dash. Then, Emo caught a bullet and immediately flicked it back out. Blood exploded as Dong Chong's hand that was holding a gun was completely shattered with blood, splashing onto Dong Nana and Yi Shihua. Emo walked over and kicked out a few times. Dong Nana, Yi Shihua, Dong Chong, and Shinda were all kicked together into the same spot. Is your young master Dongfang Wang? I don't think Dongfang Tang has the balls to do this, so it must be. The Dongfang family is quite cocky. You think you can rob Luo Yu's land just like that? I really want you to bring a message to Dongfang Wang this time. Even if he takes the positions of all of Luo Yu's higher-ups, Luo Yu City will never belong to the Dongfang, Emo said coldly. Yi Zifeng murmured, How can this be? Nana, you're also Dongfang, aren't you? Zifeng, I'm sorry, I owe you. Dongfang Nana suddenly got up and turned to ram her head into the pillar. Yi Zifeng saw this and immediately charged over to grab her. Nana, don't do this. Big brother won't kill you. Emo sneered. He saw with his spirit sense that Dongfang Nana had a mini pistol in her pocket. She didn't need to ram her head into the wall to kill herself. But Emo couldn't be bothered exposing that. He could tell that Yi Zifeng really loved Dongfang Nana, but she was just using him. Emo walked up to a seat and sat down before saying slowly, Second brother? Sister Yuehua. Why are so many familiar people missing? Why is Feng Wei locked up? Su Ping looked down guiltily. Sorry, third brother. I didn't help you manage this family well. Su Yuehua got up and said, CEO, the main responsibility is mine. I just realized that the documents telling Commander Huang Yu Miaodong and the rest to resign were all signed by me. Zifeng brought me those documents to sign, so I didn't mind that much. Yiling suddenly said at this moment. I know that Sister Yu and Commander Huang never wanted to resign. Those orders were fake. After Sister Yuehua signed other things, Dongfang Tanjin changed the content and used Sister Yuehua's supposed orders to capture Sister Yu and company brother. Second brother is infatuated with Dongfang Nana and has fought with Sister Yuehua many times. Sister Yuehua always felt she was an outsider due to Zifeng's identity, which allowed them to take over Luo Yu step by step. I could see it happen, but I didn't dare say anything. Sister Luo Ying and Qingxue all left. I wanted to tell them after they came back, but they haven't been back ever since leaving. Luckily, you came back today. Yiling wiped her eyes. She knew that if she exposed these things, Sister Yuehua and Su Ping and company might be killed by these people. The only reason why they didn't was because they feared a riot happening. She knew things would all be corrected when her brother came back, but dead people couldn't be returned back to life. She had seen with her own eyes Brother Zong being unable to even last 3 moves even when he was at the Earth-level tertiary stage when he was caught against that master brother Yi had killed. Luckily, brother had returned, and now things would be back to how they were before. Yimo sighed and walked up to Yiling. Yiling, I thought wrong of you. Were things already past the point of no return when you found out? Yi Zifeng was the person who had willingly betrayed them. Yiling just couldn't do anything about it. Brother! Yiling nodded and cried into Yimo's arms. Yiling cried for a while and suddenly remembered something. Brother, you should quickly go save Sister Yu, Commander Huang and the others. They were locked up by Dongfang Tanjin at He Strait military prison. What? They left Luo Yu already? Su Yuehua got up in shock and asked shakily. Yi Zifeng was also dazed. He had always been grateful for Dongfang Nana's understanding and caring attitude towards him. When so many old people of Luo Yu left, she introduced that many capable people to Luo Yu. Only now did he realize how much of a fool he was. Yet he still wasn't able to hate her. I will go save them. Su Ping slammed the table. His face showed extreme guilt and anger. Yimo waved his hand. No need, I will go save them. This is my fault. Then, Yimo killed Yi Shihua and Shinda with 2 wind blades, and then destroyed Dongfang Chang's and Dongfang Nana's dantians before saying to Su Yuehua, Sister Yuehua, now is not the time to punish yourself. Lock these 2 up and interrogate them. Then, Yimo said to Su Ping, Second brother, go take control of the army immediately and annihilate the Dongfang family, no matter if they're here or outside. Kill everyone except for the women they robbed from Luo Yu City. Leave no one alive. What? Everyone was shaken at these words. What? Everyone was shocked by Yimo's words, leave no one alive. Was this still modern-day society? If news of this reached the Union, perhaps they would start a 3rd war with Luo Yu in the name of human rights. Dongfang Nana and Dongfang Chong shivered. Only now did they realize what sort of enemy their young master had offended. These last few years, Yimo hadn't been at Luo Yu, and they hadn't seen him, so they thought Yimo was just SOSO. What Yimo had said now was still understandable to Su Ping and Su Yuehua, but to Yi Zifeng and Shen Qianqian it was shocking. Shen Qianqian subconsciously said, Brother Yi, shouldn't we lock them up first, then take them to court, and then Yimo sneered. He wasn't a political idiot. He had come back to establish his dominance. If he couldn't even do that, then what would happen if he left Luo Yu for a long time again? Luo Yu was different from other countries. This was a new city, and they didn't need to copy other countries' laws. He needed to use bloody warnings to all those who might want to plot against Luo Yu City. He needed to tell them, there is no court battling here. If I want to kill you, I will. He turned around to Su Yuehua and added, after second brother kills them all, list their crimes publicly. Yimo paused for a moment, and add another law to Luo Yu City. Those who betray the country can be killed unconditionally as long as I confirm it. This was a dictator law, but Yimo didn't think he would ever wrong the innocent. He didn't give this authority to anyone else either. The Dongfang family could kill another family as they wished, go to their home and rape and kill while telling everyone it was suicide. This had touched his bottom line. Even if he wronged some innocents of the Dongfang family now, he would be giving justice to those who lived in Luoyu. He had created Luoyu City to give peace and harmony-loving people a place to live happily, not for someone to abuse Luoyu's citizens. Not even Yi Zifeng. Yi Ling looked at Yi Shihua, who was lying dead on the ground. Her eyes were disappointed. She didn't like these things, but the Yi family members just had to come start trouble in this peaceful Luoyu. She knew long ago that if her brother came back, none of these people would be able to get away. The reason why all these things had happened in Luoyu was because Yi Mo hadn't specified Su Yuehua's authority. Yi Zifeng thought Yi Mo had left him there to balance Su Yuehua's power. Moreover, Su Yuehua was more suitable for being head of intelligence but not really for being city lord. What is it? Third brother? Su Ping said. Su Yuehua and company all looked at Yi Mo, who was suddenly stopping Su Ping, not knowing why he was doing that. Yi Mo had calmed down and given things a bit more thought. Dongfang Wang had started this. With his wits, there was no way he didn't account for the possibility of failure. He must have some trump card to dare do this. And that trump card would be used to negotiate with him when the plan failed. Those of the Dongfang family were all cunning like foxes. If he underestimated them, he would be the one suffering. What was Dongfang Wang's trump card? Second brother, don't startle anyone yet. Let me think. Everyone sit down. Yi Mo also sat down and rubbed his head. Yi Mo knew that he wouldn't be able to think of anything in his current mood. He took out a few transmission runes and gave them to Su Ping and Su Yuehua. Then he said, Second brother, go take over the military immediately and lock down Luoyu for now. Don't allow so much as a bird to fly out. After that, go annihilate the Dongfang family. If anything comes up, tell me through this transmission rune. And once everything is under control, you can go rescue Sister Yu and company for me. In this situation, he could only move very fast. He should be the one rescuing people himself, but he had to figure out what Dongfang Wang's next move was. Yes. Su Ping walked out and disappeared from the doorway quickly. Yi Mo then said to Su Yuehua, Sister Yuehua, use the highest order of the city and immediately shut down all means of transportation. Secondly, immediately shut down all telecommunications within Luoyu. Without the next order, it is not to be started again. Also start up Luoyu's interference machine and stop any signals from going out. We'll communicate using these transmission runes only. Yes, President. Su Yuehua knew that Yi Mo must have thought of something important. By the way, Sister Yuehua, I told you to investigate a place called Shitang before. Do you have any news? Yi Mo asked. Su Yuehua shook her head. I wasn't able to find it, but I did find out that after the Sui Tang dynasty, there was a power faction in Jingping called the Great Shitang. Pretty quickly, though, that power faction died down. There were barely any records left of it. Yi Mo knew that if this matter were so easily gotten to the bottom of, Shitang wouldn't be able to exist till today. With Yi Mo's order, Luoyu City became restless once again. Some people were arrested, but most importantly, almost everyone knew that big things were about to happen after telecommunications were shut down. Yi Mo interrogated Dongfang Nana and Dongfang Chong, but the result was that they were just pawns sent by Dongfang Wang. They didn't know what Dongfang Wang's next move was either. The only useful thing he got out of their mouths was one of Dongfang Wang's HQ locations, Xianxia Island. This was a private island which Dongfang Wang had gotten 5 years earlier to develop his power. Yi Mo sighed. He didn't know if Dongfang Wang had savings before or not, but earning enough money to buy an island within 5 years. This guy was really capable. If Dongfang Wang just wanted to recover his Shitang, that was fine, but he shouldn't have tried to mess with Luoyu. Xianxia Island was about 6 square kilometers big. No matter if Dongfang Wang was on this island or not, Yi Mo was going to annihilate it. Yi Mo sent his spirit sense out, and Su Ping had acted quickly and managed to gain control over the army. Yi Mo nodded. After all, Su Ping was the original commander, so now that Yi Shihua, this outsider, had died, it was effortless to regain control over the army that belonged to him in the past. A few gunshots and explosions sounded when Su Ping encountered some people who didn't fear death. However, the explosion shook Yi Mo. Explosion? Right, why didn't he think of it? If he was Dongfang Wang, The only way to bring the enemy down with you was to physically destroy Luoyu. Luoyu's air defense was too strong. So the only way to do that was to plant the bombs in Luoyu and detonate them. Thinking about this, Yemo sweated. Realizing the danger of the situation, Yemo knew that it was pointless to call Su Ping back immediately. The only thing to do was to check if Dongfang Wang had really planted bombs in Luoyu. If he had no way but to take them out before Dongfang Wang detonated them. Thinking about this, he scanned his spirit sense out at once, not even leaving out underground. Luckily, his spirit sense was more than 20 kilometers long, so it could go through the earth easily. Soon, Yemo's expression looked really bad. He had indeed found bombs, timed bombs with radioactive effects. These bombs could kill thousands of people at once. Not only that, the radioactive substances would completely destroy Luoyu. Dongfang Wang was really sinister. Yemo calmed down. His safety measures were of some use. Dongfang Wang would have to be notified for him to decide to detonate the bombs no matter what, and he had cut off the city's telecommunications. The moment after Yemo had left the meeting room, he needed to dig away the bombs as quickly as he could. Yemo's spirit sense was very powerful and, as it swooped the heavens and earth, he found out that there was more or less a bomb every kilometer. The most densely populated places had more bombs. Yemo was furious. Luoyu had to bleed. These people were hidden very deeply. Hence, since Yemo had decided to act up, he wasn't going to be soft. The bombs had been placed very strangely. Some were inside trees, some were inside water or earth. Some were in the middle of the road or inside walls. Other than Yemo, no one would be able to find them all without knowing the exact place. Without the support of a city manager, these bombs wouldn't have been able to be placed at all. And based on their locations, Yemo knew this hadn't been done in a day or two. These bombs were like mini nuclear bombs. Each one of them was very expensive. That Dongfang Wang was really wealthy. In order to create nuclear fission bombs, Yemo believed that Dongfang Wang had to have collaborators. Yixing could have been involved, but Yemo didn't believe Yixing would do that, despite not knowing where Yixing had gone. His collaborator would at least have Northern Sand's level of technology power. Even with Yemo's spirit sense and speed, he took half a day to take out all the bombs in Luoyu City. There were 59 in total. Yemo quickly placed these in his golden page world and then checked many times to see if there were any more bombs. After this, the first thing he was going to do was set up automatic bomb-checking devices and alert the city if bombs were found. Yemo only breathed at ease when he received Su Ping's news. Third brother, we found Xianxia, who used to follow you Miaodong before he betrayed us and killed a few soldiers. Xianxia. Yemo immediately remembered Xianxia and Han Zai, who he had taken in from Earth Fiend. He had even helped them to take out the goo bug. Yet now, as soon as he left, Xianxia betrayed them. What about Han Zai? I'll come over, Yemo said. Everything outside had been controlled and Xianxia had been subjugated. He was tied to a pole. Even when Xianxia was tied up, he still had a face full of contempt. However, when he saw Yemo come, horror flashed across his eyes. He hadn't expected Yemo to have come back. The pressure Yemo gave him stuck to his heart. Even the soldiers on the square stopped breathing and stood up still when they saw Yemo come. Almost 90% of them hadn't seen Yemo. But he was a legend. Stories of how he had created Luoyu had long been spread throughout the city. Yemo looked coldly at Xianxia and asked plainly, I really want to ask you, when did I ever mistreat you or when did Luoyu ever mistreat you? Xianxia wasn't afraid of Su Ping, but he was afraid of Yemo. Su Ping sneered, Xianxia, didn't you just say that I wouldn't dare kill you and Luoyu was controlled by your master? Xianxia suddenly looked up. Yet there wasn't much fear in his eyes. He bit his teeth and said, Yes, I said that. Yemo, I know you're strong, but you can't kill me. Because if you kill me, Luoyu will be over immediately. Oh, then tell me why that is. Su Ping looked scornfully at Xianxia without taking his words seriously at all. Xianxia suddenly had fear in his eyes. He thought that almighty person, that young master, was like a demon. It seemed he could do anything. He had said he was going to take down Yu Miaodong and he had succeeded. He had said he would take down the commander of ground forces Wuxia, and he succeeded too. He had said he was going to make Dong Tanjin the #1 vice city lord, and the second day after he said it, Dong Tanjin had become the #1 vice city lord. Yemo looked at Yang Jiu and could tell that he was thinking about something else instead. Suddenly, Yemo lost interest in chatting anymore. Where did Han Zai go? Did you capture Sister Yu? Yang Jiu was shook and subconsciously answered, I killed Han Zai and I captured Yu Miaodong. Yemo waved his hand. Kill him? No, Yemo, you can't kill me. The young master said that if you kill me, Luo Yu is over, Yang Jiu said. He had reacted, but Yemo didn't even turn back to look at him as he walked out of the square. When Yemo went back to the meeting room again, Su Yuehua was back. Su Ping was still commanding outside. At the same time, Yu Miaodong, Zhang Jian, Huang Enian, Guqi, Lu Lin, Fang Nan, Fang Wei, and all the others were also back. Shi Xiu and his wife were also there too. Even the Air Force Commander Sherman, who hadn't come to the meeting before, also came. They were political prisoners. Although they had been locked up, Dongfang Wang clearly didn't intend to kill them, so they were rather healthy. Although everyone knew Yemo had come back, when they really saw Yemo, they finally dared to believe it was real. They all got up. To them, if anything happened in Luo Yu, as long as Yemo was back, it would be fine. Yi Zifeng had also come to the meeting. When he saw that so many Qianbei had been locked up due to him, he realized how dumb he had been. If Yemo hadn't come back and Luo Yu would have been completely controlled by the Dongfang family, all of those people would have been killed. Brother Zong, Sister Yu, and Commander Huang, I owe you. I let such things happen in Luo Yu. I feel really embarrassed. This is our home, yet I let other people come in and cause harm to you. This is my fault. Yemo apologized. No matter what, these people had helped him build Luo Yu, but they had gotten locked up. Su Yuehua sighed. When Miaodong left, I went to send her off. However, I didn't expect she would get locked up. Miaodong, I'm sorry to you all. Yu Miaodong was very disappointed. Yet now that they apologized, she knew that she couldn't blame Yemo. They idealized politics too much. Zhang Jian said casually, let the past stay in the past. We need Luo Yu to stabilize as quickly as possible. Yemo nodded. Okay. Everyone go back to your posts first. Once Luo Yu stabilizes, we will discuss about the future. And Yuehua, recover the city's telecommunications. Yi Zifeng walked up to everyone and apologized. He had been the main cause of this. Shi Xiu, help Yuehua. We'll talk later. Yemo was quite happy that Shi Xiu had come. He was his best friend after all. After all this, there was a more important thing he needed to do. Xianxia Island was in between the Philippines and Indonesia. Yemo had never been someone who wouldn't strike back after being attacked. The first thing he did after handing Luo Yu over to the others was to go find Dongfang Wang to this island. The island wasn't small, it was rather big. It belonged to an European tycoon before, and somehow it had become Dongfang Wang's. Yemo had indeed seen some soldiers training there, and their equipment was rather good. Their defenses were very thorough, but to Yemo they were non-existent. Yemo got to the center of the island. There was an impressive estate, and there were many barracks outside of it. There were about 1,000 barracks on that small island. Yemo looked at their flag, which had 2 ancient characters, yet he could tell it was Shitang. This was Dongfang Wang's base indeed, and a place where he trained his troops. It seemed that Dongfang Wang was much more decisive than his brothers. Both of them had wanted to rely on other people to build their own empire. After seeing that many of the Dongfang family's people had come to Luo Yu, Yemo realized that Dongfang Wang was the real young master of the Dongfang family. Dongfang Shi and Dongfang Tang had probably wanted to be the young master too, but they couldn't get the support of the Dongfang family. Hence, they had no way but to rely on themselves. Yemo scanned his spirit sense out and saw 2 new battleships. However, it was a pity that he couldn't find Dongfang Wang. It seemed he wouldn't be able to kill that guy that day. Yemo didn't care that much. He believed that with his current spirit sense, it wouldn't be very hard to find Dongfang Wang. Yemo planted the bombs he had taken out of Luo Yu City on the island and even on the 2 battleships. Although it was easy for him to kill the people in it, To Yemo, it was much more satisfying to let Dongfang Wang have a taste of his own medicine. As soon as Yemo was done, he received Su Yuehua's call. Luo Yu's biggest meeting center was full of people by the time Yemo got there. They all got up when Yemo entered the room. He looked at the screen in the meeting room and saw it was Dongfang Wang's face. "What's going on?" Yemo asked Yu Miaodan. Dongfang Wang spoke on 0° international TV attacking Luo Yu, saying that we went against international laws and ignore human rights. Yu Miaodan said in contempt. Yemo nodded and sat down. He had never heard of 0° TV. Su Yuehua explained, 0° TV belongs to the Northern Sand Country. Although it has a short history, it's one of the top 10 biggest TV channels on Earth. Yemo looked at Su Yuehua in shock. Northern Sand formed a country? Su Yuehua nodded. Yes, 6 years ago. There were some internal conflicts in a small country in Africa. A party took over the other party and re-established national constitution. 2 years later, the country was renamed as Northern Sand. Yemo thought about this. Now things made sense. He didn't keep asking and instead focused his attention on Dongfang Wang. Dongfang Wang seemed much more mature than 10 years ago. His face was also bleaker. Our Dongfang family had been contributing to Luo Yu. Our entire family had even moved there. Yet what did the dictator of Luo Yu do? He did something as inhumane as annihilating our entire family. Are we a primitive society? Is he a dark fascist ruler? The only option is carnage in the eyes of Luo Yu's dictator. I feel deeply worried for the citizens living in Luo Yu. I am representing the entire Dongfang family to call out to the world. We can't allow these butchers to continue. We need to resist. We need to destroy the dictator of Luo Yu. Dongfang Wang's expression was crazed, and he waved his hand every time he spoke a word. Yes, I know the Union won't do anything to Luo Yu. However, no matter how cruel and bloody Luo Yu's dictator is, he can't stop our resistance. Suddenly, the screen changed to another channel. Yemo sneered. No matter how much Dongfang Wang tried to stir things up, the reality was more powerful than his arguments. Yemo didn't think the Northern Sand Country issue was so simple. Northern Sand, unlike Dongfang Wang, was a powerful organization that had the same technology level as America. Meanwhile, Dongfang Wang was just a madman. Most importantly, their goal wasn't just to build a country, it was world domination. They hadn't had an open land to stay in before, but now that they had built their own country, they could do things openly. Northern Sand was not like the US. The US dominated, but they still had some sense. They wouldn't try to annihilate every country on the planet. But North Sand was different. Those who followed them would prevail, and those who didn't would get annihilated. That was their ideal world. If they had the power to destroy the world, they would just shoot nukes casually. Life was worthless in their eyes. Just when Yemo was about to talk, Dongfang Wang tried to video call with him. Yemo was dazed, but he immediately sneered. He knew what Dongfang Wang was going to do. Accept the call and send what he says to the world through Luo Yu TV. Yemo sneered. Su Yuehua dazed. President, are we really going to broadcast our conversation with Dongfang Wang to the world? Yemo nodded. Yes, let the whole world know what he's talking about. If he wants this satisfaction, I'll let him have it. I'm sure he won't expect this. When the video call was accepted, it was immediately broadcasted live. The news reporter of Luo Yu said, after Dongfang Wang undermined Luo Yu on 0° TV, he immediately requested to video call with Luo Yu. This is a live broadcast of his video call. Let us see what this hypocrite has to say. The screen changed to Dongfang Wang's face. Dongfang Wang was holding a controller and laughing hysterically. Yemo, I know you're watching this. I came to tell you exciting news. If you hadn't killed the Dongfang family's people, perhaps we could have negotiated. But you psycho killed my family without even negotiating first. I will let you know who I am. I will make you remember forever. You're a psycho, okay, but I'm more psycho than you. This controller can detonate timed bombs all across the world. You will be very happy with the explosion of 60 bombs under you. Enjoy the fireworks at Luo Yu. Ha ha ha. Then Dongfang Wang pressed the controller. Everyone in the meeting room was dazed. Dongfang Wang had planted so many bombs in Luoyu, yet none of the people there knew. The people's heart sunk. They had just gotten out of jail, but now they were going to get bombed. Yimo's heart also skipped a beat. He had only found 59, where was the last one?